money, all we talk is money. All we talk is money, it's like bees to the honey. Honey, money, honey, money, honey. It's the SOSCAST, baby.
All right. We're live. Thank you guys, gentlemen. Audio's a little bit low, but welcome to the SOSCAST, the sexiest financial show in the world. This is where finance meets romance. Thank you guys for joining us out there in the internet land.
Hey.
My name is Adam Sosnick. You can call me Soz. And with the help of my friends today, Mike Rashid, panel of lovely ladies, Natalia as well.
Hi, friends.
Our goal is to have a conversation for you guys to learn, improve, out-strategize, outlast, everything we say, so you guys can get paid, laid and do it your way. So, welcome, everybody. Before I introduce our guests, let's go over some of the topics that we're going to be discussing today. Let's get right into it. Let's have some fun, because I know time is limited. Mike's got to get on his private jet in like 2 hours.
Oh.
Time is of the essence.
Time is the essence.
Time is money.
It's funny.
That's true. So, you've seen the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith
Yes.
with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie? Mm-hmm. Well, clearly there's a remake of that, and that is with Will Smith and Jada. What is going on there? Have you guys seen the latest allegations, the latest situation? Em, I'm sure you're all over that story over there.
I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, well, you're about to find out.
I got here.
Let's turn up this audio a little bit, guys. We're going to have a conversation of who benefits more in the workplace from their looks, men or women.
Definitely men.
You think so?
I'm just kidding.
Sound like sarcasm.
The women. Relax.
You sure about that? Let's see.
I don't know. We'll see.
Famous Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, Kevin O Leary, says this amount of money is how much you need to feel comfortable. The number will shock you. Okay? And then the average guy who just got his first job after college is basically saying, I cannot survive on a normal entry-level salary. We'll tell you what that number is as well, but it's pretty interesting. A lot of times we talk money here. A lot of times we talk dating and relationships, masculinity, femininity, feminism, all that stuff. But one of the things that's actually very interesting are the traditional gender roles and the reversal of traditional gender roles. One of the more famous female comedians, not my ex-girlfriend, Chelsea Handler, Whitney Cummings, that if she plays her cards right, could be next in line to be the next Chelsea Handler. She found out the hard way what it's like being the man in the relationship. She says, I just want to go back to where I was before. So we'll have that conversation. The whole conversation about sugar daddies and sugar mamas. We all know about sugar daddy life. Mike, we've been there, done that. I get it. What? No?
What's a sugar daddy? Candy?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Sugar daddies
Tootsie
aren't
Rolls,
real.
Blow Pops, Reese's Pieces. We like them all different little flavors. But what is life like for a sugar mama? We'll explore that little situation. Pop in the ring. We'll have a conversation of what women are really looking for. Is it a ring? Is it a wedding? Or is it an actual marriage? And how much you want people to spend on rings based on their income, based on their net worth, and how special it needs to be. So we'll get the ladies' opinion on that. And if we have time, we'll get into a couple more stories. One specifically, this percentage, we'll kind of leave you guys with a cliffhanger. This percentage of remote workers are sneaking off during the job to have sex. What percentage do you think that is during remote workplace?
I don't even
So
wanna
we'll
know.
have this conversation, all that and more with our amazing panel today. We'll talk money, we'll talk the economy, we'll talk dating, we'll talk relationships. This is where finance meets romance. Welcome to the SOSCAST. If this is your first time here, thank you for joining us. And if you're a repeat offender of the SOSCAST, we love having you. Before we meet Mike and the rest of the panel of our lovely ladies, Nat, welcome back to the show. We've been off for since Thanksgiving. Before that,
Yes.
we're here.
We're here. Ready
You look
to go.
well. You had your turkey.
I did. Actually, no. I had an oxtail.
She did have
And
oxtail.
Jamaican patties.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm doing great. I'm super excited to be back. I think today's episode is going to be a lot of fun. I love when we talk money. I love when we talk relationships because that's an aspect and dynamic of it. And I think today we're going to have some really great insight from our lovely women in the panel and then our gentlemen we also have on the panel. So make sure you guys subscribe, like, share, do all those fun things. And make sure you guys put your notification button on because there's always something new happening when it comes to valuetainment. So I kind of want to just get this party started and
Let's
get
do
it
it.
going.
So Mike Rashid's in the house. Welcome back, brother. You were here, what, 2 months ago, I want to say?
Thanks for having me.
Living like a lion.
Indeed.
You know, as Jay-Z once said, I'm not a businessman. I'm a business man. I feel like that encompasses you.
That's a
Fitness
fact.
guru, all-around badass, entrepreneur, hustler. Had your issues that you discussed last time legally. Cleaned up your act.
Correct.
Everything went well, and look at you now.
Look at me now. I made and I make life my bitch. You feel me?
Made life my bitch.
That's what I do.
Just me and my bitch, huh? Just me and my bitch.
You gotta
Life.
manhandle every situation. Man, to control it.
Really?
Or don't, and cry and die and just wither away.
Have you always been like big and jacked? I don't know if you guys can see on the screen, but you know,
Nah.
Mike's kind of got it going on. Have you always been like?
I was a skinny kid.
Really?
That's probably why I got so muscular. 'Cause I wanted to be muscular. Actually, I didn't even care about that. I wanted to be strong, right? So I've been lifting since I was 12. I started boxing and lifting the same year, right?
Okay.
So yeah, I've been doing all of that.
Speaking of being strong, were you all like physically strong? There's mentally strong. There's emotionally strong. There's spiritually strong.
Just-
How do you kind of have that full perspective of life?
There's no separation. It's just strong. It's all encompassing one. Like people have a separation of mind and body, but the mind is the body is the mind. It's all connected, right? And a strong-minded person with a degree of intellect is going to be an ethical person. Is going to be a person that's thorough, works hard, because it's just logical to work hard. You put in, you get what you put in. So, I remember when I was young and I had a job and I worked overtime and I got a bigger check. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I'm gonna keep doing this. That's just been my mindset all my life, right? I'm motivated by duty, by doing things. I was telling someone yesterday that like, stop chasing pleasure. I was telling a guy this, like, men don't chase pleasure. That's for pussies. Like soft guys chase pleasure. You know what I mean? Chase purpose. Be productive. I like to create the environment for everybody to have fun. You understand? Like you're not gonna see me dancing and having fun. Like
You're not dancing in the club?
nah.
Mike, I feel like you got a couple
Listen,
moves
listen.
out there.
Listen, I got moves, of course, but you gotta think. I got a little bit of my history. I had to keep my head on a swivel at all times. So even though life is good now, I still kind of got those tendencies to just watch out for everybody.
So let me ask you a follow-up. So totally agree with you 1,000,000% on the purpose. A lot of young people out there, they don't know what their purpose is. They don't know what their mission is, but it's incumbent on them to kind of figure it out. But, you and me both, you've got a lady in your life, you've got a couple, right?
I mean, I don't know.
Okay, right?
Nah, one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want,
Okay.
but you also have kids?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where am I going with this? So you might say, I'm on my purpose. I'm on my mission. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But, there's always a lady in your life, my life as well, usually, that you kind of have to, let's just say, factor in their feelings. And ladies, forgive me, tend to be a little bit more emotional and in need of emotional support. Whereas men are like, here's what's going on. Here's what we're doing. Here's the problem that's got to get solved. And if there is a problem, like, cool, let's fix the problem. Not let just talk about the problem. Maybe I'm just kind of venting a little bit now. So while you're on your purpose, while you're on your mission, how do you basically stay on that without the lady in your life being like, well, Mike, you haven't been home, blah, 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 blah. All that, because that's going to come. No matter how much of a G you are, no matter how much of a man you are, the lady's always going to have some emotional situation she's going to need to talk to you about. So how do you stay on your purpose, without succumbing to whether it's the emotional side of things, even the pleasure side of things, and kind of going that path?
Well, first and foremost, my life is not about a relationship. That is a aspect of my life, right? So my woman is not the most important thing to me, right? So my purpose and the purpose that I assign to myself is pretty big, and it includes a lot of people, doing a lot for a lot of people, providing things for a lot of people. So I am very fortunate in that, my woman is top notch, right? Before I get into a situation, though, I'm laying everything out on the table. So I'm managing expectations by letting you know that, look, you're not pulling me off of the things that I got to do, right? So
I got to tell you, that is some gangster ass shit right there.
you got to do it out the gate.
Yeah.
You can't, people make the mistake of hiding who they are getting somebody's feelings invested, and then like, hey, by the way, that's not okay, right? Because it's
Setting
not,
expectations
you set
up front
you
is
set it up.
imperative.
Look, before there's feelings involved, y'all don't love each other yet. Yo, I like this. This is what I do. This is how I am. How are you? What do you feel about that? I talk a lot in a relationship just to manage these things and to set the stage on how I expect things, and I want to know what you expect, right?
Does this come from basically trial by error, meaning like when you were younger, when you were in your 20s, whatever, you know, you meet a hot girl, she's amazing, and you're like, oh, dude, I'm in love with this girl and all that, and you don't even have your purpose yet. So I guess, you know, with age comes wisdom. So when did this kind of come about? Yeah,
with age does come wisdom, but I also observe, right? And I watch and I see look, I haven't had a lot of relationships, just to keep it 100 with you. So when I open myself up for that, I'm logical about everything. So I'm like, let me let you know that this is what I am. This is what I expect. I like this. I'm not a one-woman man, if that was the situation, right? Everything, like, let me just try it with somebody that we don't even really know each other yet. So what's it hurting, right?
So what's your level of importance? So you said your woman is not number one. Is it money and business? Is it God? Is it kids? What's your order of like, what's
your hierarchy of importance?
Yeah,
because
you're handling also dealing with a lot of different people, even the people you mentor. So what does that order look like for you?
So first and foremost, me, right? I'm connected to the source, to God, right? So I'm a representative or a reflection of that energy. So it has to be me because I'm doing God's work, right?
Okay.
So after that is my children, right? Okay. And my woman and my family, right? Because my woman is my family, you know? And I don't have a hierarchy between my woman and my family. I'm not going to be in a situation where a woman is ever trying to put me against my family or my children. So
Good.
I don't even like to say woman, family. I won't be in that kind of situation with that kind of human being, right? So I'm very, very, my discernment is good, is high level. So I choose well, you know, and I've chosen well. And I just don't have those kind of issues. I don't have those, because if that was to arise, I'd be like, all right, nice knowing you.
Got it.
Easy,
Dude, I got a lot of respect for what you're saying. I need to start implementing a little bit this more because I'm...
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm very purpose-driven. I'm very mission-driven. I have meaning. But these women out here, they want your time. They want your meat, your money, your energy, your attention, your time. And it's hard to kind of balance that. You just got to stay steadfast. You have to do that, no doubt. But they're chirping in your ear, Mike. Anyway, I'm venting a little bit.
What do you do when they start chirping?
Who's laughing out there?
A lot of times they just want to talk and they want to vent. And the problem that I have is maybe I don't like set expectations proper up front. But a lot of times I'll say, look, if you want to just complain and vent, go call a friend. Like, you're great, don't. You're amazing. Like, I'm trying to solve big issues. Yeah. Not what happened while your nails weren't done right. Yeah. And I get called an asshole or a dick, and believe me, I'm comfortable with these words at this point. But I don't want to be bogged down with, like, if you're like, hey, I'm trying to start this business and I'm having a problem with transitioning to a 501c3 nonprofit. I'm like, oh, I got you, baby. Here's what you like. Right. If you want to talk to me about why your nails are, you know, it's very frustrating. Right. But I want to get the ladies involved. I'm going to ask you a question and then we'll introduce everybody. Mike said something pretty alarming, pretty shocking that I think most women will be like, hold on, what? He basically said that his girl is not his number one. What I often hear from women is, I want to know that I come first. I want to know that you put me on a pedestal and you put me first. So my question to you all have your red and green. Everyone put it in your hand. What should come first? The woman, like for a man like Mike, myself, should the woman come first, put up green, or should your purpose or your mission come first, put up red? Put it in your hands. Green for your woman, red for your mission. Go ahead. So you guys are all aligned on this. You guys are all basically saying...
I think it's cap.
You guys...
I don't know.
So you think they're capping?
Yeah.
Who's capping the most?
I think if they was talking amongst themselves, it would be the other way around. You know what I mean?
So you're saying they're doing this for the views?
Yeah.
It depends.
So
it depends.
We made such a compelling argument just now. Yes. It's hard to go against.
Well, you made that. So allow the women to speak. Go ahead, Jamie.
I know a bunch of women in a group setting like this. If there was a man who was all about them and they didn't have any purpose, purpose and they weren't focusing on work and they just wanted to hang out with us, especially women who are doing their own thing, like that's not a good look either. I'm like, it's not very masculine.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying behind closed doors, Mike's actually
And
wrong
the
in
door
his
is open.
assessment. Okay, so you're saying, all right, Maria, what would you have to say?
I mean, I was gonna say that the fact that a man has a God as a priority, that's the number one
God
thing.
as a priority.
Yeah, that should be.
So you value religion, values, principles, ideology.
Yeah, and then after that, I would say if you want to have your kid, I'm just talking about your example, and I respect it. But I would say like if you want to have your kids good, you need to make sure that the woman also is good, because whatever she does, she's gonna reflect it to the kids. So if you want the kids well, you need to want your woman well.
Do you have any kids?
No.
But this, you're preparing your life for this type of thing.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, Pal's in the house.
I
Why
agree
did you
with-
put up that a purpose and a mission is the most important for a man?
Because why will someone be able to provide or have a family if they don't have a purpose, you know? And I also like what you said about putting the children first. It's like that's who you're gonna leave your legacy. So I completely agree with that.
Okay. Astrid?
I agree with what everyone said on here. So
Okay.
I think for me, the priority is God and my God-driven purpose, and then my partner is there to help me fulfill that in a way. So we're equals in that sense. I feel like if you always cater to your partner, I mean, they say that phrase, you can't love someone unless you love yourself. So I think it's very important to make sure that you are fulfilled in your own self and your own worth and your purpose before you can expand and give energy to somebody else.
All right, I'm going to ask you guys one question, but let me let Emily go first, and then I'll do proper introductions.
I've been in a codependent relationship where we put the other person first instead of focusing on ourselves, and that's not a way to have a healthy relationship. You need to make sure that you're filling your cup, make sure that you're doing what you want to be doing, and that's when you're going to find somebody who's actually aligned with you, not somebody who wants you to be their only priority. That's not healthy, and that won't work out in the long run.
Okay,
That's a red flag.
So, number one, I'm in full agreement with Mike Rashid over here about having purpose and having mission. I feel like a lot of the problem with young people, Gen Z especially, is they don't have a mission. They don't have a purpose. They feel a little lost. Totally get it. Good things take time, young men. But number two, he's kind of onto something. He's kind of calling cap, and I'll tell you why. I know for a fact that every single one of you ladies have had arguments with your men where he's like, I'm working late, baby. You told me you'd be here at 8. Hey, we can't go on this trip because I got to do business. But you promised. So there is an element of like you saying these things, but in real life, you're kind of giving your guy some headaches if he is on his purpose and he is prioritizing that over you. Am I wrong on this, Jamie?
I think like with what Mike said, the communication has to be there. So if somebody can be upfront about what to expect, like, hey, I have a lot to do. I may not be able to make it, but my goal would be to make it. Then there's some more like an understanding in that situation, you know. But there's a lot of people or men, I guess, who in the dating realm, they just act how they want to act and expect people to just be okay with it. But it's a partnership if you're working with someone, and I think the communication is
Okay,
super
Nat, what were you going
important.
to say?
I was going to say that I do think at the end of the day, it's important that you take care of yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of your family or your woman. But I can see where you're like, you're calling cap, only because, you know, as a woman, when
Did I say it
you're
like that?
with, but let me explain. I'm not saying, I'm not
Well, Mike,
saying,
right.
no,
I'm
but I'm
kidding,
not
I'm kidding.
saying women should be a man's number one, because I promise you, if a man makes a woman a number one, he's going to fail.
Yeah.
Like
Straight up?
Y'all won't
you're
respect it, right?
Like you
will
won't,
lose
because you're
your
relying on
respect.
something that's also not reliable. That's somebody that you're choosing to work together and become a reliable source for each other. So if you're gonna go, and that's both ways. Is a woman puts a man as her priority, you know, it's a little bit more reliable, but it has to be the right man. So it really just depends. But at the end of the day, it's, you know, I agree, it's God first, right? And then it's yourself, and then it's your family and your kids. But I can see where it's like, well, the woman may feel like, yeah, you know, I want you to do your purpose, but, you know, sometimes the women could feel neglected, right? Maybe she's not feeling loved the way that she wants to be received, right?
Okay.
So I could see where the women can come in and say, you know, well, you know, I should be part of your top priority, because at the end of the day, I'm going to help you, you know, create peace, be the mother of your children, and so on and so forth. So I'm just speaking for the women who are like, well, I should be at least in the top 3. Yeah, you should be the last, at least top 3 of your man's priorities. I would hope so, especially if they're the mother of your kids.
Okay, I think you crushed that. I want to get everyone's opinion on the following thing. Okay, Maria, I'll start with you. Any of you guys have brothers here?
Yeah.
Who has a brother? You have a brother, you have a brother, you have a brother, you have a brother? Pal?
I have a sister.
You have a sister. All right.
have
Well,
sisters,
these days,
too.
People are a little confused, but I'm talking actual brothers with penises.
No, I don't have any.
I said the naughty word. What I want from you guys is to tell us what you would tell your brother about the discussion we just had. Meaning he's dating a girl and, they're considering getting engaged, whatever. Any of your siblings married?
Yes.
Perfect.
I have a half brother that's
I didn't even know you had a brother. I know all your
I'm
sisters.
a blended family.
I'm finding about this Jamaican family all the time. So Maria, how old's your brother?
He's 30.
He's 30?
Yeah.
Perfect. What would you tell your brother? Like if you can encompass life, relationships, dating, marriage, purpose, mission, if you can encompass all this into a couple sentences, right? Not some elongated speech, a couple sentences. What advice would you give your brother as to understand women, priority, purpose, mission, family? Let me hear what you would tell your brother.
I'll tell him to make sure who is he choosing, because an actual woman will understand if she's, for example, dating a soccer player. She needs to understand that he's gonna be traveling all the time. So you just knowing what he does for a living and what his purpose is, so you should accept and be okay with that. It's okay. Obviously, what Nat said, you need to be in the top 3 priority for sure, but you cannot take a man out of his goal, his final, his end goal.
Okay, so your advice is if your brother marries a female soccer player?
No.
He's like a soccer
If he is,
Oh, if he's a soccer
is
player, gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Gentlemen, be very careful if you're choosing a female soccer player as your wife. She's probably a lesbian.
For
Okay,
sure.
Pal. Nat's like, I played soccer.
Actually, I was horrible at soccer. I played
Yeah.
volleyball, though.
Pal, what would you tell your brother advice that he should understand about women and relationships and life?
To choose the right woman, because the right woman will take care of you, will create a nice and loving family. You want kids with value. You want a nice home that they will do good. And a mature, like someone with mental maturity or intelligence, is gonna be able to understand where you're coming from and that communication, because many times immature people will be the one that, you didn't give me time or whatever. But one thing is neglecting, and another one is like understanding that there's things to be done, and that that you gotta have the purpose.
And always have some ice cream.
Yes, there's always space for dessert.
Astrid, do you have a brother?
Yes, a younger brother.
How old is he?
He's 22.
Let's hear what you would tell your younger brother.
So my younger brother just got into his first serious relationship that
Nice.
he's going to bring the
Congrats,
girl
buddy.
over in Christmas. So I'm excited for that. So
You're about to meet her for the first time.
Yes, so I'm very excited.
Are you
and
going to be like,
nervous.
hey, welcome to the family? Or like, listen, bitch, let me tell you how it, how you
So that's the thing is my
That's
brother
me.
is such a good man. He's
Yeah.
the kind that will devote, if you need something built, if you need to take in the groceries, he cooked our whole Thanksgiving dinner. Like my brother's that man who just both, again, a man, but also just so loving and devoted to whoever, his family, his girl, obviously. So my worry is that a girl's going to take advantage of that. So what I would tell him is that what's most important is figure out what your values are. So to me in relationships, the values are your non-negotiables. For me, I value, my spirituality, my belief in God, my hard work, my ambition. I value, my family and my friends. And once you have that foundation, everything else is just a bonus, or you just learn from that other person. So it's like there's some things like somebody might be into something you're totally not into, but you're like, okay, babe, I'll try it out for you. And if you don't like it, that's totally fine. But I think values is at the core of every relationship. And I think that's what everyone should focus on. Because I'm going to be honest, all these podcasts with the men are built this way and then women are built like this, it's causing people to just not even get into relationships. And it's really sad to see that nobody is just like they're
Understood.
fighting.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for all types of different podcasts. I think they're all needed, and I think there's a market for all that. I would say for on this show, what I've realized is that we're better together, and there's going to be some differences, but I don't want, what I do not advocate is like men going into like the MGTOW black pill community that's like never be around women.
It becomes
they
like
all fucking
fanatism.
hoes, they all suck. It's like, nah, good luck. You just hang with your homies all day. And what I do not advocate whatsoever is the feminist movement when they're basically like, you don't need your man, go get your own bag. It's like, dude, that's a disaster waiting to happen. So if we can kind of come together and have these conversations, I feel like we'll all be better served for it. Emily, before I go to Jamie, you don't have a brother.
I do not know.
Okay, but you've slept with a lot of brothers.
Well, okay.
It was related. It was all related.
You know what happens when you
Not
assume?
really. I'm fucking with you. But what would your advice be to your mythical brother?
My mythical brother.
To my brother.
Yeah.
Well, to Jamie's
They're
brother.
basically siblings.
Yeah.
I would
Who
say
banged? Yeah.
be comfortable being alone.
Huh.
Be okay not having a relationship so that you can actually reflect on your red flags, on the red flags that you attract, on the things that you don't actually identify as problems that become later problems in the relationship. So take your time. Don't try to rush into relationships just because you're feeling lonely. Be comfortable being alone so that you can find somebody who aligns with all of your values, who aligns with what you want to do with your purpose, and so you find someone who's filling their cup just as much as they fill yours.
Emily Wade. I think that was a great answer.
Thank you.
You know, all these podcasts you do out there, these 2 girls, 1 blunt, you're really coming on your way. And a cigar. So, Jamie, take us home, and I'm going to have Mike give the finale before we move on. What would you tell your brother? And how old is he?
My brother's 22.
Got it. So, you know, same age. There you go. Now they're
He's
friends.
young.
I know they're so little.
I know. I would tell my brother, fuck bitches, get money.
Quote that.
Safely though.
Yeah? Is that your actual
no,
advice
he has
for
a
your brother?
girlfriend and she's amazing.
Because that's not a horrible advice.
Yeah, I
They're
think like
22.
he's young. I think being in relationships young.
It's,
especially
by
as
the
a
way,
man.
that sounds a little shocking that I'm co-signing that. But if you actually filter out what that actually means, it's make your money, have fun with women, but focus on your money, your purpose, your mission,
Yeah.
and take your time before you get a wife. I think that's
I
what
agree with that.
FBGM actually means.
Yeah, my advice, he's a lover. He's a lover boy. He's a great boyfriend. His girlfriend is a great girlfriend. But I would definitely give the advice on working and focusing on that and not just focusing on love in a relationship.
Well said. All right, Mike, you got any brothers?
Nah, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a
Well, you got
Shame.
some
If I did.
brothers from another mothers
Yeah, like
that you speak with, that you coach, that you advise.
someone that would be a little brother, depending on their age, I say, don't even think about a relationship until they're a certain age. Not just an age, right? Not just the chronological age, but not until you're mature in your development in your life, right? Because here's the thing. If you want to have the type of woman you want, like if you're creating this construct of your dream girl, right? What's your life like? Can you maintain it, right? And there is a degree of finances that you need. And I don't want to sound like it's transactional. However, you don't want to be in a situation when you can't do certain things with your woman. You can't take her on trips. You can't, really go all out for her birthday or your anniversary or things of that nature, right? Or you can't go with, because look, my circle is all couples, right? And we do things like, we travel. We go to other countries, we have a ball. You don't want to be the one guy who got to tell your wife or your woman, like, I don't even like the ocean. You know what I'm saying? You can't be fronting like that. So, just get your life, like, develop a solid foundation. And also, here's another thing. So, I don't have a brother, but I got a son, he's 18. And I tell him all the time, like, bro, don't even, because I'm pretty extreme. Like, I eat once a day type of extreme.
Really?
Right? Yeah. So, now, I was always a disciplined person growing up, but I become more disciplined as I got older because I seen the importance of it. So if I can go back, I would completely calibrate my life to be super disciplined from day one and not fuck with girls at all until I got to a certain point, because I'm gonna tell you why. If you're of my lineage, you're not gonna have a problem getting girls, right? Even if you can't maintain them in a real way. And what it does is it damages you and it damages them, right? But we talk about now, there's a lot of complaints about women being promiscuous and things of that nature, acting like men. It's because we're training them to be like that, right? We're not taking them serious. We're just trying to smash and that's it. And it's just a hookup culture, and I think is corrupting the moral fabric of our society and of each person, right? Because I had to go through a period of like just not dealing with nobody because 2 women didn't excite me, 3, it was just weird. You know what I'm saying? I needed like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna talk to you crazy, you say this, you know what I'm saying? Weird shit.
You've done some wild ass shit, and after you do a bunch of wild shit, you're like, all right, what's next?
Right? But it's like,
slippery slope.
It's like that level of like getting dopamine from that channel, right?
Yeah.
It was like you burn yourself out and it's not even fun anymore, right? And then you have these women who will they will never take a man serious to that extent. They'll never trust that a man really loves them for them and want to be with them. Because I've run into that before. It's like I come to the table solid. Like,
but here's my question for you, Mike, because your advice is great for a 35-year-old, 40-year-old man. Hear me out. If someone's 18 like your son or 22 like them, it's a lot harder for them to be like, yeah, let me kind of go find out for myself.
I hear that.
What it's like to have all these girls and have fun and this and that. And then I'll let you know in 5-10 years whether I agree or not. Meaning like they need to experience all the wild ass shit that you've experienced. And then with that wisdom, with age comes wisdom, experience comes wisdom, they could say, you know what, Dad, you were right. But until they have that crazy girlfriend or the sexual stuff or the body count stuff or whatever it is, by the way, this kind of equally goes for women, unfortunately, as well. So how do you understand that and grapple with that? But also, hopefully your 18-year-old son will listen.
First and foremost, I tell them a word to the wise is sufficient. A word to the wise is sufficient, right? Now, and if I love you, if I really love you, right, I'm going to figure out a way to calibrate my message to really like plant that seed, you know? I do it with my son, right? I talk to him this way. Okay, let me back off of that. Come this way, let me back off of that. Get somebody else, we have a conversation, let him hear it, you know, things like that. And he see me in action, right? Listen, why can't you have all the wild, freaky, nasty, sexual, fun shit with your woman, with your one, right? And here's another thing too. I think I live an ultimate life that men want to live, right? So it's like, okay, you want to hook up with other girls? Talk to your girl about it. And then let's find that channel. Like, do it like that, right? So when, you know, in a polygamous lifestyle that I've engaged in, for me, it wasn't about hooking up with a bunch of girls. I have no interest in that, right? My desire is deep, meaningful relationships, right? So if I did want somebody else, it's because she's so dope. She's so cool. I want to get to know her. I care about her, right? I care about y'all, so let's bring this all together. And I'm saying that because a lot of people think that their girl won't go for that, but it's not true. You'll be surprised what someone will allow if they're given that option without you sneaking and doing it, with you laying it on the table, and with you keeping their cup full. I know a lot of ladies will push back, but it's reality.
Well, let's get the ladies' opinions on this. I see Ashley. No, because look, this is the whole point of having these conversations. I think we could all understand, and women to an extent this as well. I don't know if it's actually natural. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's immoral. I don't know if it's actually natural for a man to be with one woman forever and ever and ever. I don't know if that's actually natural.
It's not natural.
I'm not saying that you
beautiful,
shouldn't get married. I'm not saying that you shouldn't cheat. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have like a girl who shows up on my birthday and a surprise, motherfucker. Like, I'm just saying. I just don't know if it's natural. So thumbs up, thumbs down.
Real quick, Adam, let me say this before we go into that, because I want people to understand me. I'm not some advocate saying men should have multiple women. I'm not saying that. Most men cannot handle that. It's not for everybody, right?
Yeah.
You got to be of a certain stature. You have to be of a certain abundance of resources, not just financial, but intellectual resources to be able to deal with those kind of situations and calibrate it properly. And I say this, all I'm saying is this: the life that you want, if that's what you want, you can have, but you have to do it right.
Yeah.
Right. So it can't.
Thank you for that disclaimer, by the way, because not every guy can do this.
Right. It should not be based on lies or like, man, what do you expect? I'm a guy. Like we've always like that's bullshit. We have communication. We have civilized societies. So don't cheat. Don't lie. Right. That's really fucked up. If one of my friends, if I knew they were lying to their woman, I wouldn't fuck with them because we all do business together. I can't trust you, bro. You lie to her, that beautiful woman. I can't trust you, bro. You tell me anything. You know what I mean?
Great point.
I swear to God, I'm not with that. And listen, I'm not like a brute to people like, quit fucking cheating on your girl. I'm not doing that. But I'm gonna try if I care about you, I'm gonna try to find the right way to communicate these messages to you.
Okay, we'll hold off on that. I'll tell you this. This is why your son is a very lucky young man. So PBD always tells me that what he says to his kids are, more is caught than taught. What does that mean? Words are great. Like you said, a word to the wise, it's awesome. But actions and actual like full-on mentorship, that goes a long way.
Right.
So your son is watching you, you know, like he sees the moves that you're making. And if your words are not aligned with your actions, he'll be like, nah, Dad, you told me this, but you did this. So what's up with that? So as long as your words align with your actions, awesome. Anyway, guys, great conversation. Let's meet the ladies because we haven't met them officially.
yeah.
And then we'll get into this thing. So Maria's in the house. Maria Prieto.
Yes.
Give us what you're up to. You do coaching on social media, fitness, relationship status. Go ahead, give us the whole spiel.
Okay, so my name is Maria Prieto. I do coaching online. I teach women how to use social media and make money with it without using OnlyFans and compromising their values. I have a relationship, 3 years almost in January. What else?
I think you crushed it. I don't know. You're doing stuff on social media. How women can make money online without doing OnlyFans. How many girls come to you and they're already doing OnlyFans? They're like, teach me how to get off of this? Or how many girls are saying, I haven't done anything online yet, but I'm considering doing some shit, and you teach them the new way?
It's a lot of girls. I have both. I have both of the case scenarios. It's unfortunately, once you're into it, it's sad to say it, but there is no way back. I mean, you can fix your life, you can change your life. That's 100%, but there is just no way back. Like once you see it, you cannot unsee it. In social media, internet, there is just no way to fix it.
Interesting.
But you can change your life. You can also, like, there is so many ways to make money online. Nowadays, we're in 2023. What we do is we promote programs, high ticket offers, and we do affiliate marketing with them. So
Respect to you.
yeah, thank you.
And 3 years. Any big news coming up anytime soon?
I don't know. You have to ask him.
Okay, we'll ask him. Buddy, get on the ball. Pal's in the house.
Hi, everyone.
Pal, what's new in your world? What are you doing for work? What's your relationship status? We know you like dessert.
Yeah.
Pal Stefan.
Paola Stefan, yes.
Yes.
So I'm an engineer. I work in a medical device company. I realized that that's not completely my purpose. So I'm trying to figure out how do I get with my purpose. I'm really into fitness. I love working out. I would love to make people's lives better because I started working out for losing weight, and it ended up being something that changed my life because I kept doing it because I love it, and I know you can live a healthy life without being miserable and without quitting all the good stuff. It's just about balance. So I'm in that journey right now. But yeah, meanwhile, I'm an engineer, medical device company. But here I am.
And you're finding that purpose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Relationship-
Astrid's in the house.
relationship status.
Oh yeah, relationship
Oh, I'm
status.
single.
Single like a Pringle. Got it. Astrid,
Okay, so
you have a ring on your finger now.
Yes, I
I don't know if you had that last time.
I
Did you?
did.
I did have a ring.
Okay. Well,
So-
Zerka was trying to take it off, so
That was a hot mess. So, I like I told you, I thought I was getting punked that episode. That was a lot going
yeah, we did
on.
that whole episode just to punk you.
I couldn't believe. Anyways, so I work in tech sales. So I sell my company's cloud services, and I'm also a content creator. And so I focus on talking about my career in tech sales and how other women of color can pursue a career in tech, and also about personal finances. So that's why I like coming on the show.
Hey, when's the wedding?
June of next year,
Congratulations.
Very exciting.
Where's it going down?
in Atlanta.
All right.
So
And I noticed that when he had some comments on,
polygamy.
multiple ladies in your life, but being honest and, being your eyebrows raised more than anyone's. What about that? Yep.
So
What about that? Where you're like, I don't know, Mike Rashid.
So I respect how you said I'm open and honest with my women. I totally agree with that, and I again truly respect that. I just think that your woman. Oh, I'm not saying I'm not her, obviously, but I think most people are not okay with sharing a person, and I always think like you can't multitask. Like your mind cannot physically multitask and divide its energy. So I think also in a relationship, it's really hard to divide your time and effort and your love between different people without someone feeling left out. So for me, it's like you say you fill her cup, but at the same time, is she truly happy knowing that he's with someone else at whatever time of day it is, if you set off that time? So for me, I mean, I'm super jealous though. So
can I ask you a
maybe
question?
That's why. But
you said you think most people would not be okay with that, right?
I truly think, well, I'll change it. I think no one's okay with that. I mean, what's that
and what
show?
What are you basing this off of? Like, what evidence are you basing that nobody would be okay with that?
That nobody would? Well, I'm not a lawyer, so maybe I shouldn't say nobody. But I just think...
Or most.
Most?
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you an example. So I watch like reality TV shows. I watch like 90 Day Fiance. And then I always see this commercial for like, what is it called? Sister Wives. That felt completely apart.
What is
all
that?
the wives, it's like this one guy, I think he's Mormon, has
reality
multiple
show?
wives. Yeah, it's a reality show.
It's not real life.
But all of them like divorced
real
him
life, though.
because they were jealous.
It's not real life. They was on there to
make it
be
up.
on TV.
What were you gonna say?
That I like me personally, I'm like I wouldn't. That doesn't align with my values. But personally, I've met different people that has worked for them. Like that might not align with you, but that can work as long as there's communication and there's honesty.
So let me ask you, would you
I'll-
be okay with your woman seeing other men and having multiple relationships, or is it just one-sided?
I wouldn't be okay with that.
So why not?
But I've never met a woman that, like, in the beginning, I'm asking questions, we're getting to know each other. I throw that out there to see if they're on that page, right? And if they are, cool. Now I know, but now I'm out. But that's not what I want. But that's not typically a thing that women want.
Yeah,
Now,
good point.
And another thing, here's the thing. What's wrong with, you know what? I hear you. That's not my thing, but like you're projecting what you feel on everybody else. You really don't know.
Because again, it's just mostly to stir up some conversation of, would you be okay if your woman did that? Because
Not
you're
the same.
saying she's
Not the
100.
same.
My whole thing is you're saying she's 100% cool with it, but in reality, is she just sacrificing this because she loves other things that you bring for her, whether that's money, whether that's other types of benefits that she gets from the relationship, but mentally and emotionally is she whole? Knowing the fact that you're sleeping with other women. She says she's okay, but is she fully okay with it? And if you cared about her 100%, wouldn't you want to actually think about that?
I do care about her 100%. We have these conversations. And listen, I'm not some ogre that's going to steamroll somebody if they don't want to do something, right? So, but question for you, have you ever been lied to or cheated on?
Yes.
How does that feel?
It's the worst. I hated it.
Like how long ago or how many times?
This was my last relationship. I don't think physically, I think it was emotionally cheated on. So
What is emotionally cheating on
so
me?
basically,
You caught him texting other girls?
Yeah, like he basically like had to admit that, hey, I'm having feelings for someone else. I've been kind of hitting on her, flirting, and that broke. I was devastated. So
I feel like
imagine
Mike's
physically.
going somewhere with this.
Go ahead, yeah.
All right, so like some people, I mean, a lot of people, when we have this conversation in a macro like this, people are going to curtail the things that they say based on what they want the outcome to be. Now, people will typically, and women will typically say that maybe they've been lied to or wasn't physical, like you said, but never cheated on, or things are usually on the up and up. But that's not the case. The data don't show that, right? Most women have been cheated on, right? And I think it's really fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So let's say there's a woman out there, and this is not my girl, but let's say there's a woman who's been cheated on, and she meets a guy that's fucking honest out the gate, but he's honest about like, look, I want another woman, right? What if that is a sacrifice? Well, I'm kind of jealous. I only want this one. I don't want him to share him. However, everything's taken care of. He treats me good. I'm proud of the man that he is, and he's honest, right? I mean, what's wrong with a little sacrifice if that is a sacrifice that person is trying to happen to make? Or do you just accept the fact that, or fuck it, especially if a woman want a certain type of man, right? You're an attractive woman, right? It's not likely that you're gonna go get a guy that other women don't want, right? Your man is probably attractive. So, the temptation for a man is out there, especially a man that got his shit together, look a certain way, move a certain way, right? So a lot of guys don't have that discernment or that strength, that willpower, like, nah, I'm good. This is my queen right here, don't disrespect me, right? So they're gonna like sneak off and do shit. So what's wrong with a woman, and this is not my situation, but what is wrong with a woman sacrificing that one thing for an honest person that's a stand-up guy.
Listen, I respect it because, again, being open and honest, that is a key, like a foundational piece to any relationship. The one thing I want to say to everyone watching this is, especially if they're men, would you be okay if your woman did that? And it's a double standard, and that's something we need to think about.
If I may, if you're Mike, because this is actually a very interesting conversation.
Treat others how you want to be treated. Is my point.
It all depends on what you're bringing to the table.
Let me address that one part.
Yeah.
All right. Like, let's say I'm single, right? And I talk to a girl, and it's me and you. We chopping it up, right? And I'll come to the table with all of the things, like literally, right? I want you to work, but you don't have to, right? I want you to do what you want to do. You want to start it, baby. Let's go, right? So treat me like I want to treat, like you want to be treated. Actually, I don't want to work. You got me? You got me? It's not a 1-to-1 ratio with men and women. It's different. You have a power, he has a power, and they're not the same. Because if they were the same, we wouldn't need each other, like literally.
Yeah, I agree with that, but that's more so, okay, I know I'm like extending this, but that's more so about like what you bring to the table, the actions you take in a relationship. Treat others how you want to be treated is basically just how you emotionally interact with someone, how you give them, treat them nicely, whether you respect them, etc.
Here's what I will say, because I do want to actually continue, but here's what I will say. What I've learned from Mike is honesty is the best policy.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Because he is that dude, he has the ability to say, look, here's where I'm at. Here's what I want. Here's what I'm looking for. If you're not into that, all good. Nothing but love, baby. All good. Yeah. But it does take time to be that dude. Right. You can't be that 22-year-old dude that's like, listen, baby, like, here's where I'm at. This is what I need. But you know, what are you bringing to the table? And she's like, what do you mean the table? You're sleeping on a mattress on the floor. You have 3 socks. What are you talking about? But at the same time, hold on one second. Okay. At the same time, the woman, when she's like, I've heard this so many times, like, what are you bringing to the table? Baby, I am the table. Okay, relax. So it's all what you're proverbially bringing to the table. That guy, if he's upfront with you and doesn't lie, and he's like, look, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. I got you. Your life is great. I'm paying for everything. You're living your life. But here's also what I want, whatever it is. Whether it's another woman, whether it's every Sunday I'm hanging out with my buddies, whether it's like my mom's living in the guest house, whatever it is, there's some sacrifice you may have to make. Just like if you're like, yeah, I don't want to have to work. I don't want to have to do anything. I want to be taken care of. There's sort of other sacrifices that need to be made in each situation. So that's kind of where I'm at with this right now. What's so funny?
He's being honest. I understand. Listen, I get it. I also agree with the point that you made that, you can find a woman that will be able to, accept certain things that she maybe never has in the past, just because she wants to be with you. But at the end of the day, women bring drama in your life. Women bring problems in your life. And I think the more women you have in your life, the more drama, the more problems you're going to have. And you have to be maybe a certain man to able to balance that. I grew up in a house of women.
Oh my
God. I watched
my
my dad be a dynamic dad, deal with different personalities, who's in a good mood, who's in a bad mood.
That is a good point.
Excellent point.
The more women you have in your life, the more distraction and responsibility you have to maintain. So again, sure, there's going to be women out there. There's going to be women who are like not okay with it, but they're open to like playing around. But at the end of the day, no woman is like, I'm sorry.
Me too.
I will say, Biggie said more money, more problems, but more women.
You get problems.
You have more problems. So how do you deal with that?
Bring on the problems. Bring on the problems. Bring on the motherfucking problems. Listen.
He's like, I'm a man. I know how to fix problems.
I literally thrive in these situations. Look, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, right? I grew up during the New York City crime wave. Y'all Google that, right? I grew up in that. A small, we're not even a city, we're a borough, right? Mm-hmm. When we had the highest murder rate in the country at one point, right? A borough, a town, right? So overpopulated, limited resources, you had to fucking go hard to be seen, heard, or get what you needed or you wanted. Conquered that, right? So, and I was a boxer, like all of these things. I thrive under high stress situations, circumstances. I get real calm, laser beam focused, and then we neutralize things. Here's the thing. Nat, you're right. More drama, typically, right? But I typically, and I'm going to be honest with you, the relationships, the women that I choose, they don't bring that kind of energy.
So that's the point.
Right.
Is it certain women that also you
a
have
lot
to
of people
have?
be on their best behavior.
I need to enroll in the Mike Rashid School of Coaching
me, I
of
don't
staying
want- I
away
wanna
from
be a one
drama.
woman
How to vet the
Free
women.
women. Is it stoicism? Is it laser focus?
gonna say.
all of the
What is
doesn't
it that
accept
just
the BS.
when the
Like,
storm
you
is a
got any single
brewing?
friends?
How you stay
It's
calm?
all of the things. I stay calm. It just, listen, nothing rattles me. Nothing. And when I say I make life my bitch, think about that, right? There's never a situation, there's no situations that I've ever encountered that's conquered me. So my confidence level is up here with all situations, conflicts, everything. It's like, all right, I can figure this out. I'm a chess player, competitively, right? So that's just how my mind works in the real world. Chess is not just for playing people online. It's for dealing with, is applying these principles to your life, right? So one more thing. That poor guy got to give up his natural desire to
My guy?
whomever.
Oh.
Just that poor guy in general.
Because you're jealous.
Why is it a poor
It's never been a
guy?
good reason. You say, because I'm jealous. That's not a positive trait.
I'm naturally a jealous woman, so
That's
for
not a good
sure
thing. You
I
should
have
work on
never
that.
been in or open to.
You should work on
You
that.
should work on that. What do you think about that?
I have to laugh because hell no.
But back to the 22-year-old.
Yeah.
They could be honest about it too, because those young girls probably thotting around with a bunch of dudes. You know what I'm saying? It's not like
all this thottery that's going on.
I think the ultimate thing should be honoring the honesty part.
Okay.
Right? We talk about
respect that.
we talk about the negative parts, like the jealousy, this and the third, but what about the honesty? And I feel like that's it. Because look, if you ain't with it, all right, cool. We're not going there.
But don't you think
Honesty.
there's a certain level of when you're handling like different women and feeding your temptation, there's a level of discipline that is lost, right? Having a man who's loyal, he's able to, not even a woman can convince him to break whatever his focus is or whatever, I feel like sometimes when men have multiple women sometimes, their level of discipline is lower than maybe somebody who doesn't, right? They're like, oh, I could give a crap about having another girl in the house because I have my kids, I have God, I have, my woman. Like, why do I need more?
If that's the metric, then he don't give a damn about no woman, and he could just live a single life and see who he want when he wants, right? So here's the thing: why does a man who have 2 wives, why is he less loyal? Loyal, you know what loyalty means?
Correct.
And
It's not
honor
that he's
is
less
being
loyal.
honorable to your rules.
Yeah, it's not that he's less
Yeah.
loyal. It's more so that
Or discipline.
or discipline. But
Do you
because
think he's just running around every night, just hanging out with
I
girls?
think
That's
you're-
not what I'm talking about.
I
He's
think-
loyal to 2 women.
Yeah, sure.
No, just
but-
one right now.
Oh, one.
Just
But I'm
one.
not saying you. I'm
But,
saying
but my point is that if you are loyal to one woman and you go be with another woman, it's still a woman that you're changing your loyalty. Again, it
Let me
depends
speak
on
on
the woman.
my experience.
but-
is usually we're together.
for sure.
It's not like, all right, tonight you, then tonight, nah.
So that's where the communication comes in. That's
That's
the
the honest,
important. That's the
what he said.
important honesty part. I'm just
Honesty-
speaking from like a girl who's like, I don't want to have multiple women. I'm your woman. That's,
Yeah. All right.
that's just
Well,
what I'm speaking from.
honesty
I'm a
is
lot
the
to
best
deal with, though,
policy.
so-
we got
You
Got
got to
it.
dissipate the energy a little bit. Just a
no
little
doubt.
bit.
Go
Gotcha,
Google
gotcha.
dissipate if you know what that is. Thank you for that education, Mike. Speaking of 2 girls at the same time, we have 2 girls,
Hey.
1 blonde in the house that wasn't meant to be inappropriate.
What?
But, we didn't get to introduce them because we had an amazing conversation about Astrid's inability to be emotional and non-monogamous. But that's something she's got to work on. We all have to work on something, Astrid. Jamie, Emily, welcome back.
Thank you for having
Thanks for
us.
having
One of
us
you is
again.
redhead, one of you is even redder head.
Which one's which?
I don't know.
And do the
Take your
carpets
pick.
match the drapes?
Ah,
That's the real
Everyone
question.
wants
the
to
deal
know.
breaker question.
I got laser.
Ladies, what's
Plug.
new in your world? I'm sorry I wasn't able to make your comedy show at the Miami Improv.
I bought
I was
tickets.
away. I was traveling. Did
We'll
you
have
actually
another
go?
one.
No, I didn't get to go because I had.
You
something-
bought tickets that didn't go? Thanks
Don't
for the
support.
donation.
Thank you for
Support.
supporting us.
You
Thank you for
financially
supporting
and bought
us.
a ticket,
Yeah, thank you, thank
But
you.
I
Oh,
had
had
to go
I
to
known,
Orlando
I
for
just had to
something.
donate money to your cause. I would
Yeah,
have done
please,
that.
actually.
I mean,
I thought that
Cash
showing
App,
up and
Venmo,
laughing,
Zelle. Well,
at your jokes has probably been more important.
You know, if I would have won, I would have
I
laughed.
think that money more important.
you better laugh.
Mike's like, nah, just make the donation.
I was hoping.
We had a great live show though. It was so fun. It was a really cool moment for us, like full circle moment, starting in our living room and then, you know, being on stage. I was like, we get to do this for a living, which is awesome.
That's dope.
But yeah, being a stand-up comedian, because we're both comedians as well, just like to put on your point, I feel like I'm getting more open to the idea of having a man that has other women, because the men that I'd be interested in would all be on the road. It's very, very normal in comedy that the guys are able to sleep around while they're on the road, but they have like a main girl.
Very
It's been
interesting, Jamie.
eye-opening. Yeah.
Emily?
I don't know if it's anti-feminist of me, but I would rather have like an arrangement like you do, because we're going to be on the road. We're going to be touring both for comedy and then for the podcast. I don't want to find people on the road, but men do. Like, I would rather have that stable person that I can come home to and FaceTime when I'm done. I don't care about fucking people. Men care more about that. So I would rather have an arrangement where he's like, hey, I'll take care of you, you take care of me, but I do want a little side piece. As long as you don't give me an STD, that's or
my
get somebody
biggest concern.
Those
pregnant.
are the rules of the game.
Those are the rules of the game.
Not bad.
Yeah, get tested.
I got applause thing.
So yeah, can we get an applause out here? Yeah, let's get an applause out there. Sound effect. All right. Guys, thank you. This has been amazing. This has been an awesome topic. Intro, amazing. Let's get into sort of the meat and potatoes of what we're going to be discussing today. And I think we teed it up amazingly about how sometimes the wrong women will ruin your life. And that women bring drama, headaches, what'd you call it?
Yeah, we bring a little drama, a little entertainment in your life.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Well, nobody these days is dealing with more drama in their life because of a woman than the actor that was formerly known as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith. You've seen the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, where they're married and they're both, Secret Service agents, and they end up having a mission to have to kill each other. It ends up being insane.
Oh, that's so
And
hot.
It's hot. You're into that. Well, that seems to be like the sequel of the movie is going on in Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith's household right now. So we're not TMZ. We're not breaking news here. But I do want us to dissect the relationship, the marriage, the money, because they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars, this whole situation, and then just throw in kids, family, sleeping around, other celebrities, Hollywood, the Oscars, slaps, threesomes, gay sex. Throw it all in there, and we have a conversation to be had here on the SOSCAST. Yeah, as our friend Aaron walks in, he's like, did somebody say gay sex? Yeah, buddy. I wish we could put a camera on that. So here's kind of what's going on here, if we can hone in on this. So there's been a string of allegations that have been going on against Will Smith by specifically his former friend and assistant, brother Bilal. By the way, is Malik in the house?
Malik, the
Right here.
freak.
Man, I forgot that you were even there, brother. I can't even see you.
right here. I'm hiding.
Malik, I need your help on this one.
I got
so
you.
some of these wildest allegations were, we covered this last time, that basically Brother Bilal walked in on Will Smith and his buddy, Dwayne Martin, also a co-star, having gay sex. Now, Dwayne Martin was in Above the Rim. I think he's married
he
to...
was.
What's that?
I said, yeah, he was.
Oh, man. Inside the Rim with Fresh Prince. It's messed up, bro, but I'll give you that one, Emily. Let's put Emily on the camera right there. There she is. Weird stuff. Allegations. Some of this other stuff that we know to be fact, that was that Jada Pinkett Smith was having a relationship with this rapper, musician, August Alsina, who's a friend of their son, Jaden. That's weird. So your mom is banging your friend, but it's sort of a weird situation, sort of the impetus for all the MILF porn that's going on out there. So they clearly had some sort of open relationship. But the other allegation is actually pretty shocking right here, which I think we have a clip that Malik's going to play, that Will was okay with Jada sleeping around as long as he knew. Talking about not lying, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Like, just don't lie. Yeah. But apparently she lied one day. And Will caught Jada having sex with none other than Mark Anthony from J-Lo fame.
Wow.
And he, quote unquote, beat the shit out of her. So I'm never condoning ever putting your hands on a woman ever. But if you walk in
If he's gay, does it
on
count?
your girl banging Mark Anthony.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah. What is Mark Anthony's most famous song?
Ay, ay, ay.
Pura vida,
got it.
vida.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How does it go? Yeah, what is that one?
Yeah, like vivir la vida.
Sing it,
Oh,
Maria.
I don't remember. Vivir, vivir.
La, la, la,
La, la, la. I just caught you, Will Smith. La, 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 la. Mess up. They were actually in a movie. Can you pull up that IMDb? They were in a movie together. Mark Anthony and Jada.
Oh.
Ironically, the movie was called, wait for it, drum roll, Just Between Friends.
Stop it.
Here that was right there. Hey, they're just between friends. But here is what Brother Bilal had to say. He said that he walked in on the dressing room of Will Smith and Dwayne Martin having gay sex allegations. I'm not believing this or not believing this. These are his words. But this is what he had to say about when he walked in, when Will Smith walked in on Jada Pinkett Smith and Mark Anthony getting it on. La, 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 la. Okay. Play that clip.
He brought Dwayne a club called Zen Lounge, and Will would come in there and just be drinking and like just this wasn't the Will. And one of the things
Turn it up.
Jada has over him, Will lost it and beat the shit out of Jada. I mean, beat the dog shit out of her. That so bad that they had to make a makeshift hospital in their home so that it couldn't get out to the public. So that pain of Will seeing Jada fucking Mark Anthony on their couch in their home, right? Because he know they were already fucking on the set. This is fact. He just couldn't take it, and he whipped her ass.
Okay, so pause it right there.
Someone need to tape this man's mouth. He's talking
I mean,
too
this
much.
guy
He's
is
talking
out
too
there
much.
ruining Will's career. There's a couple
Yeah.
clips, but then we're obviously going to have a conversation right there. So,
Yeah.
Just Between Friends, that was the name of the movie. But this is part of a larger conversation that Mike was basically saying about being honest, open relationship, one-sided, is closed on one side, open on other side, right? We know where you stand on this, right, Astrid?
Mm-hmm.
You're not playing that game. Mike's very, real. But some of this we tracked it back to a clip that Will Smith had to say, where this kind of all started. So we can play that clip about the real reason that Will Smith became a Hollywood movie star and sort of his mindset. Here that is.
I became a movie star because my girlfriend cheated on me when I was 15. And in my twisted psychology, I was like, if I'm the most famous person in the world, no woman could ever cheat on me.
All right, pause that.
Damn.
So,
Why they did him like that?
Yeah.
Why?
so
That's so sad. That's really sad. Actually.
here's the last part of this, and then we'll have a deeper conversation. So, Jada just came out with a book. It was her memoir, Worthy, and she made a shocking admission that they were actually been separated since 2016. But fast forward, 7 years later, an ass whooping or two, some gay sex allegedly, who knows? Jada is now saying that they're going to they're staying together forever in what they call their brutal marriage. This brutal, beautiful marriage. I'm struggling with brutal. So that's what it is. So here's this clip of them basically saying, we're staying together, we ride together, we die together. Bad marriage for life. Let's play that, Malik, and we'll have this conversation.
I feel like maybe you're and his shadow separated in a way in this book, whether they stay together forever or not.
Right.
You know, it sounds like you're staying together
We're
forever.
staying together forever.
Perfect.
I
Okay.
tried. We tried.
Great.
Yeah. We ride together.
We die together.
Bad marriage for life.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So, Mike, you're a man. You've been very honest with the ladies here. Ladies, I think you can appreciate his honesty. This is a whole nother level of nonsensical shit that's going on. If you were kind of coaching Will Smith through all this, and you can go back and be like, listen, Will, you're gonna be a fucking movie star. Here's what you gotta do. Like, what would you have told him years ago to help him avoid basically this public embarrassment? They basically called it a sloppy public experiment of unconditional love. If you were in his ear back then or even now, what advice would you have for Will Smith?
Do it, go, do it. I'm gonna tell you why. They said they ride or die, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's fucked up. So, okay, they're not together. They go find somebody else that's fucked up. First of all, there's a couple things. They're movie stars. They're weird already, right? We can't like look at them as a model of anything normal. It's
Totally
nothing
makes
normal. They're mega rich, right? Everything's weird, right? Everybody around them's weird. I don't trust this fat guy. This fat bald
Brother
man.
below.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
You don't trust him.
Where were you when she got her ass beat? Say something then. What the fuck? It's however many years now. I don't trust that guy at all. You're fat. The fact that he's fat, I don't trust him. Not facts.
I
Not
know
facts. You indulge in food. Look, when people talk about the 7 deadly sins,
Yeah.
Being fat.
glutton is an easy one to avoid. People don't know what you're doing behind closed doors.
Yeah.
We see that you're a glutton, right? I don't trust nothing about this
Mike
guy.
Rashid is going ham right now.
Right?
Continue, sir.
This was somebody that you were friends with.
Yeah.
Let's hear about the intervention steps that you did back then. Even if you didn't want to out him back then, what did you do to try to get him right? Right? We don't hear none of that. You just hear a chatty patty, right? A big old gossiping mess. So I'm not buying. I listen. Violence amongst anyone is horrible, especially a man and a woman. Bad, really bad. Fuck that guy. The guys that do that shit. But I'm not saying that he did it just because this fat guy said it, right? So that's null and void. Them choosing to stick together regardless of their weird relationship, I think is dope. Why not? Like, they're honoring their vows to like ride it the fuck out.
So you would call that loyalty? Would you call that's a more loyal relationship, or would you say that there's disrespect in it?
I call that unconditional love. Exactly what they said.
Gotcha.
No conditions to it. And then they're a real example of it. Because look, everybody is casting judgment, right?
Right.
But because nobody know their skeletons.
Correct.
Their life is blasted out there, and we don't even know what's true or not.
Right.
We have no idea,
Yeah.
right? They could be normal as fuck. I doubt it, but they could be. You know what I'm saying? So I take this with a grain of salt. When news come out, I don't believe shit. Nada, right? It's all entertainment to me. You know what I mean?
Well, I got to tell you, this is why I respect you so much. You never you're like life is like a box of chocolates with Mike Rashid. You never know what you're gonna get. I thought you were gonna be like, dude, get the fuck out of there.
All right, so
Get out of there.
Right,
but like
right.
you're
That's
basically
the
saying,
perspective.
you're saying, because obviously most men, I've had this conversation with Patrick, but David, with our whole team, with other guys, they're like, dude, this woman is dragging you down. She's ruining your life. We've all been like, just jump ship, abort, pull out, go.
But
you're
wants to
like,
be
nah.
there.
She
likes
knows.
it.
She knows where the bodies are buried.
He likes it.
You think he's into it?
He's into whatever. He's mega rich. He could do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He wants her, right? So he loves her. She loves him, right?
Unconditional
They
love.
love whatever the fuck they got. And here's another thing. This is the main thing. It don't matter to me. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
No,
I don't
no
care
doubt.
what anybody do with their
But
love
what I
life.
did want to get into is because most people can definitely take that
Yeah.
that position of like, bro, it's Will Smith, it's Jada, but there's a deeper level to that which all men will deal with, and it's at what point does, especially publicly, disrespect, just making you look bad, humiliation, or even some sort of simpish, weird qualities. At what point would you even tell your buddy, forget about the Hollywood stuff, forget about that, no matter how much he loves that girl and marriage and vows, at what point you're like, bruh, this woman is like drowning you in real life. At what point you'd be like, yo, bounce.
That's under the assumption that the friend literally knows everything about their situation, which nobody ever does. You only hear what your friend is telling you. That's all we ever know. That's why people getting advice about people should not talk to anybody about their situations.
Interesting take.
Because they're not going to give an honest, full, complete version
right
of
now, we're not
anything.
even talking about Will and Jada. We're just talking about anybody because you actually bring up a really good point. Anytime that a girl goes and tries to talk to her girlfriends about advice,
it's bad.
Oh yeah,
it's not
that's
good.
bad.
Oh, good.
If it's a single girlfriend, be
Forget
very
it.
wary, gentlemen.
Oh, they're jealous
Because that
too.
single girlfriend's gonna be like, nah, he never treated you like. But if it's the married girlfriend, she's also gonna kind of say like,
She's going to compare you to
she's
her-
gonna
her
compare. Well, my
situation.
husband would never do this or do this.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think it was Patrick. I'm doing a PBD. A lot of shout out to him. He said if there's ever an issue with the relationship, I want my wife to go talk to my family, and then I'm gonna go talk to their family. Because you know that they have their son or daughter's best interest.
Yeah,
Right.
that's solid.
So when you go crisscross with it and be like, they're gonna give you advice that like stemming from you know what you're getting.
Right.
But with the intention and the understanding of we want this relationship and this marriage to work.
I remember in the value taming event that
Yeah,
he was
the vault?
explaining. Yeah, the vault. He was explaining that.
Exactly.
He said like before I actually got engaged with my wife, I asked her what were the 5 people that she was gonna run towards when we have a problem.
Yes.
And I love that because when I talk to the girls that I'm always teaching, like training, I tell them like, yes, you have to make money. Yes, you do this, blah, 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 but don't forget about the feminine side. And don't forget that you have to respect. Don't forget like those little things. And also, if you are having any problem with your partner, you have to go and look at advice for someone who is always in a better position. If you are gonna ask a money problem, like a business problem, to someone that doesn't even own a business, you ain't going anywhere.
That's real.
Great point.
That's
What
real.
else do you remember that PBD said? Because you were at the vault. He said that at the vault. I remember that.
Right in front.
That's
And
right.
well, no, he was like incredible. The side that I just love the fact to have someone as successful as he is, having as a relationship as successful as he has, because that's an example of that you can have a lot of money, but also a great relationship in an honest relationship. It is possible. But and I respect a lot what you said, and I think the problem that you had with him was that
She hates me.
no, it was that you didn't understood the point that he said about the honesty. So when you're honest, there's so many people who is willing to do anything for whatever desire they have, you know, even if it's a woman or a man. Unfortunately, nowadays, there is no many women that had feminine values or traditional values as before. So that's why people can do like accept some things. So it's not that everybody thinks.
Can I
the
get my
same.
rebuttal?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I agreed with what you said about following the advice of people you respect and admire. Like, don't. It's so funny because we idolize Will and Jada for so many years.
Not that respect and admire, but that you see yourself like.
Yeah.
That's someone that is in the position that you wish you are.
Yeah. Okay.
You were.
No, exactly. Thank you for that. But it's more so where in terms of the Will and Jada. Sorry, I'm like fogging out. But basically, you could see from Will and Jada that it's become so toxic that is he really happy? Like, I'm sure they were honest with each other. They were honest of like, hey, I'm going to go. I mean, even on her podcast, she told him like, hey, I'm going to go sleep with, our son's friend, right? I mean, she admitted to that. But look where that ended. You could see on the podcast, I mean, they pull up that meme of his face kind of being like, I am not comfortable with this. So they're together in this marriage, but to what extent? Like, honesty is great, yes, unconditional love, but when you're in such a toxic environment, and I've been in a relationship where I was in it way longer than I should have, and it was so toxic, but I was like, you know what, I love this man, like, we're gonna work it out, and my biggest regret was that I didn't end it sooner. Like, to this day, I'm happy where I ended up. Like, I'm with the man of my dreams, but to this day, I sometimes, like, think to myself, I'm like, damn it, I wish I would have enjoyed my single life more. I wish I would have like really taken the time to build myself, to not go through those traumas, because now there's times where I bring up traumas I have to my current relationship, and obviously I've learned to curtail it, but because I went through those traumatic experiences, and I feel like Will and Jada are in that situation now where they're just kind of like, you know what, we're just toxic. We're stuck with each other at this point.
Yeah, but I think like that's the difference. You don't want that, but they're choosing to be there. Like what he says, he's putting the cards on the table. You take it or leave it. You don't like what I'm doing? Okay, there might be someone who will be okay with that. Like you might not like it, but like I don't know, maybe a Jada and Will Smith relationship is not ideal, but you can see even like in their own toxic reality under our eyes, that's our perspective. You're not living that relationship, and they seem like you can even see kind of the weird twisted love under our eyes. You can tell that they love each other, and sometimes people, okay, there's mistakes, but you also learn from those mistakes and you grow. And sometimes you decide to evolve together, to move on, to resolve the issues, to talk about it. Their thing was way too public, but they're still choosing to be there. They want to be there.
But I think that's part of a
say
marriage
this.
as well, as when you get married to
Nat.
someone, you're committing. Technically, you're committing. You say, "I'm committing to you," and whatever problems come with this relationship. Yes, is there a point where it becomes too much? Sure, depending on what you're willing to take, right? You know, clearly they're willing to take this. I think the only difference with these guys is that their stuff is just public.
Yeah, that's where I want to go with
that's
this.
literally the difference.
So
That's
I didn't want this
a
to
big part.
turn into an analyzation of Will and Jada because like we're not trying to be TMZ. But what I do want to understand is we're using this as a deeper conversation into real life. Okay, so you know they famously say like don't ever go to bed angry.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're in a relationship, so whether you're Will and Jada, whether you're Nat and her man or Astrid and her man or whoever you're with or you out there and your girl, like they always say, don't get a bit angry. Look, sometimes in the moment, you don't want to be, it's hard not to go to bed angry because for a guy, I'm that dude that's like, she's like, I'm like, just go in the other room. And I'm going to go sleep. Like, I'm not even trying to deal with this at 2 a.m, not trying to fucking have a headache. So what, you want to play the game right now? So, all right, let's ask the question.
Don't go to sleep angry.
So, is it okay to go to sleep angry or absolutely not? Put up green, yes, go to bed angry. Deal with it in the morning. Or put up red, no, never go to bed angry. Go ahead.
I think red.
I think there's a difference between going
So what do you
to
have?
angry
Do you
and
force them to talk if they like?
No, so actually,
Mike, you got a thing too over there, I think,
actually,
somewhere.
my thing
There you
is
go.
that I do want space.
I didn't see her put. I didn't see her
don't
put
want
it
to go to bed
up.
though.
So you said go to bed
Give me an
angry, go to
hour.
bed angry, go to bed angry. You said
Give me
no.
an hour. Don't
You
go to
said
sleep
what,
angry.
Maria? No.
No.
For me, depends. I would say yeah. It like sometimes you need space because sometimes when you're in the heat up of the moment, you need to like settle
Yes.
down, have a moment with your feelings, and as long as there's always even later a communication. Because if you love someone, if I love someone, I'm not gonna do something on purpose to hurt them, you know? Sometimes our actions like end up hurting people, but if you love someone, you have to understand that whatever I do, it's not meant to hurt you. And you can always like have a conversation, say, look, this is where I came from, that's why I acted this way,
Yes.
and resolve that and understand where the other person came from and put in each other's shoes.
I think this
and
is such an
understand.
important topic, and I'll tell you why. Is because show me a relationship that there's never a fight. Show me one. I mean, whether it's like a sexual, romantic relationship, show me a friendship, show me a business relationship, show me something that you're never gonna butt heads. Especially if you're living under the same roof. Oh my God. Leave that dish out one more time, bitch. Leave, I swear to God.
Those are
Let
the
me see that dish
most
one more
fights.
time. That's like the littlest things will piss you off. You guys know. All right. If this motherfucker does not put down the toilet seat, I swear, like, we all understand what it's like. Especially. But then in business world, when it comes to actual money and, you know, public self-image, everything that's good, there's so many issues. But my question, ladies, is, you know, the whole don't go to bed angry thing. I'm actually of the belief that's like, look, what Pao
I
said,
need
look,
space.
sometimes it's 2 a.m. I got to be up at 6:30 in the morning. Like, I know if we have this conversation, this isn't a 5-minute fix-it thing.
Sure.
So why don't we just agree that we love each other, we're cool, whatever it is, let's revisit this tomorrow, and let's just spend an hour really talking about what this is.
Sure.
Whatever it is.
Sure.
Okay, you're okay with that.
I
But this
agree
comes
with that.
down to the
When you're-
communication
But
thing.
when I say go to
Yes.
bed angry, I'm saying like don't go to bed angry. Even like if you guys are sleeping in separate rooms and you guys don't talk about it, don't go to bed angry like with yourself, angry about the situation. Like go to bed at a sense of like peace. Like okay, there's a problem, we're gonna address it. I'll talk to him tomorrow, so on and so forth. But when you go to bed on high emotion, angry, and you wake up and you don't even take time to process it, your conversation comes out as angry. I haven't processed it. When I say go to bed angry with each other, I mean like come down to a level of, all right, I've accepted the situation. I'm ready to have a conversation. I want to go to bed and we'll speak about it tomorrow. That's what I mean by that.
Sometimes you say when you're angry, sometimes you say things that you cannot
Take back.
wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, forget about it. It's
Yes.
just
Yeah.
impossible.
Yeah.
But it's good to have like the time to process, but it's not good to like go to sleep maybe like saying crossing to your partner or go like, wow, hey, go to the corner.
Yeah,
you can't.
I actually want to
shouldn't
learn
do it.
something from Mike in a second. I'm going to ask you this question because I'm going to get the rest of the girls and then I'm going to ask you. Like, I have like a 3 strike you're out thing. I'm like, listen, we're cool. Sorry about that. Whatever. All right. Number 2, look, here's where I'm at. Number 3, look where I'm at. And then after 3 times, I'm like, listen, bitch. And then whatever comes out after that, oh, Nat, you're running out of strikes at this point. But I'm saying, like, I want to learn from Mike in a second, so stay tuned, gentlemen, how I cannot, after that 3rd strike, not go like guns blazing, especially in the women department. Stoicism, I practice it, I believe, but sometimes your emotions get the best of you. All right, before I go to Mike and we wrap up, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Going to bed angry, Astrid, Jamie, Emily?
Oh, yeah. I would say, like, the communication. Like, hey, I'm pissed at you right now, but I love you. We'll talk tomorrow. I think that's super important. And what Natalie said about processing it so that you can actually have an effective conversation. A lot of people are just stay angry, and then that conversation leads to them fighting. And no one's hearing each other. They just want to be heard, and it's not a productive conversation. So you're going to go to bed angry. Figure out what you need to say. Figure out what your boundaries are, what you're feeling, why you're feeling it, what you need, and then be able to communicate that with your partner.
Em, you out? Okay. I was going to give you one last response to answer this. Go ahead, answer it.
Coming back.
Come on back.
Guys, Emily has to leave soon. Sit down.
Oh.
I
like when you tell me what to do.
Her and her sister wife got to go meet her man in a second.
I don't have a man. Oh.
Going to bed angry. Going to bed angry. How do you deal with that?
I don't think all problems can be solved in one night. So sometimes you do have to sit with yourself and reflect on yourself and figure out what the actual issue is. Processing is super important. I used to tell my boyfriend, I'd be like, hey, I need like 24 hours a day to sit with my thoughts and actually figure out what the actual problem is. Because when you're trying to not go to bed angry, it's just a circular argument. None of it ever makes sense. It's just the same thing over and over and over, and you're just repeating it. It's like when a girl wants to know what you thought of the first time you saw her, and she asks you that same question all the time. She's like, so why do you really like me? It's the same thing with arguments. Like, you just want to hear yourself speak instead of actually listening to the other person and trying to solve it. So in my past relationship, I would just be like, okay, we both need space. Let's take some time. We don't have to be angry, but we can still talk about the issue.
Emily, I got to tell you, you've been a joy being on the show today. I wish you didn't have to go. Possibly you postpone that phone call, and we'll be here for another half hour. So if you wrap up, come back. But clap it up for Emily. She was the only one leaving.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, as always. Who didn't answer that before I go to Mike?
I agree with everything they said. So
Yeah?
yeah, for once.
Look at that. So Mike, you have no idea how much I respect just your answers. The honesty, the stoicism, I came from the streets of Brooklyn to where you're at now, and you're like, give me the problems. I can deal with the problems. But there must be some times where you're like, oh my God, especially in the women department, where you're like, every guy has that, all right, if this girl says one more stupid ass thing, I can't just be stoic and cool anymore. How do you deal with those emotions as a man?
Yell, kick, scream. Nah, I'm fucking with you. Nah, listen, I'm with you with the 3 strike type situation, because look, everybody should and need to set boundaries for themselves. And I'm a man with rules. So if I place out some rules and those rules are violated and I don't uphold them, you're not gonna respect me. So even if I don't wanna do this, I gotta do this. I have to. I gotta stand on principle, right? So I'd rather I do it and we just go our separate ways and you respect me than we stay together and you just don't respect me and you run over me, because I've been in situations where, listen, it's funny because the relationships of mine that didn't work, if you were outside looking in, you'd be like, well, it wasn't that big of a deal, but it is. It's never nothing outlandish, right? It's personality type situations or situations where a person is not being rational all the time, things like that. It's like, look, I don't think this is not productive. And you're right, nobody can make a man as angry as his woman, nobody. So it takes a great deal. This is why I said earlier, even when you're young, don't worry about no relationship. You have to be able to have a high level of restraint when dealing with a woman. Women are powerful, right? It's funny because a lot of these spaces talk down on women and make women seem like they're so feeble and weak, and that's not the case. Women have babies, right? They're extremely. Women are the canal of life.
It's the Betty White quote.
Nah, what's that?
When you guys know who Betty White is? She was one of the Golden Girls. She goes, everyone says tough as balls. She goes, what about tough as a vagina?
That's a fact.
Those things take a pounding, okay?
Literally.
They bleed every single month. They come back stronger than ever. We create life. We get babies. But she goes, hit a guy in the balls one time. That guy's down for the count. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And women, their strength is a different type of strength.
And it's very formidable. This is why, unfortunately, there's so much domestic violence. Because certain men cannot intellectually deal with a woman and control them in a normal way. So they gotta, this is the power I have over you, my strength.
Yeah, but
that's weak as fuck. You know what I think is the worst thing I've ever seen on podcasts? I've seen it a few times when a guy says, I can literally come over there and hold you down and beat you up or whatever like that.
Yeah, it's like, no shit.
Why would you even say that? Like, this is
But
goofy.
you know what's interesting? And we're fully on the same page here. A man should not put his hands on a woman. It's just men are stronger, right? But do you know what type of relationship has the highest percentage of domestic violence? It's what?
Is it gay men? Is that
It's actually not that. It's actually lesbians. Because women, they're just, they want to argue and they got emotions. And imagine having two argumentative, emotional women. Lesbians have the highest rate of domestic violence.
Adam.
They're pissing us all off.
I'm so far removed from loud, feisty women like that.
I'm so jealous.
I don't deal with that. So it's hard for me to even see that. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
I know it's there, but I just don't deal with that.
No, I get it. I typically don't deal with that. But the younger they are, a lot of times the more drama.
I feel like the older they are.
You think the older?
Yeah.
Well, I don't really mess with the old ones.
I don't either. I don't for a reason.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Really?
I feel like a 35-year-old woman that's attractive and single. It's like, why?
Well, a lot of times they're set in their ways, and the younger girls who are 22 don't know their ways. I don't know. Something about these
what's your range?
Mid-20s to...
What's your range?
Me? I think ideally, at this point in my life, what's the half your age plus 7? So that would put me at, 27, 28, 29,
Well, that's the mid-range. You just said mid-range wasn't good.
What'd I tell you about talking net?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Anyway.
You would let her talk to you like that?
You're done.
I know her boyfriend, so I'll whoop his ass.
No.
She just can't.
So, but you bring up a really good point. No one will piss you off like your woman. So let's kind of wrap this up. You're all about boundaries. Hey, here's where I'm at. 3 strikes, you're out. This is what's up. Bringing this back to Will Smith. They clearly had some boundaries. Look, I'm going to do what I got to do sexually. Yeah. You got to do what you got to do sexually. We'll have a family. We'll raise the kids. We'll do our thing. You make your movies. I'll make my movies. All good. But here's my rule. You can sleep with whoever you want as long as I know. But if I find out something behind my back, i.e. I walk in the house, our house, and you're getting banged out by living La Vida Loca, Mark Anthony out here, and I have to whoop your ass, at that point, isn't that sort of beyond breaking the boundaries, and that is not grounds for dismissal?
Yeah, but all right. So let's say that really happened and he whooped her ass, right? Maybe he feels a degree of like guilt and want to fix it.
See, that's why you never touch the girl.
And what if she's
you have to give her an emotional ass whooping, never a physical one.
I agree with you 100%.
Like, oh, this is the way it is. Have a nice life.
And they're both
she will
not
be
healthy.
ruined and crushed. After you put your hands on her and she's got 2 black eyes and you got to put up a whole nursing kit, now you feel like the asshole because you let your emotions get the best of you.
If that story is true.
Don't put your hands on women, gentlemen.
If that story is true, they're both unhealthy and it just is what it is, right? I can't understand that. I have a high degree of understanding for a lot of things, but some things I just don't, right? I don't get it. And listen, I don't really fuck with Will Smith like that because I don't like his ascension into the game. like it was the gay role, right? And if you ever see that movie, him and his guy is literally naked on each other.
Oh, there was a movie in the 90s when he was.
That's how a
played
lot of
gay
these
role.
guys
He did.
shoot to the top. It's like these gatekeepers make them do this creepy shit, and I just
It
don't
all
fuck
makes
with
sense.
that.
So, Malik, would you Google Malik? That's what it's called. Of course, the gay guy knew the movie.
I don't fuck with that.
Oh,
I don't fuck with that.
Before-
sense.
before-
We're all acting like we're surprised.
That's right.
I don't fuck with that.
sense.
So fuck that guy.
Damn.
Okay?
Wow. But back in West Philadelphia, Mike, he was born and raised on the playground. Was where he spent most of his days.
He was always a little fruity.
Damn.
His whole energy.
You know what? Parents just don't understand, bro.
I don't understand.
Yeah. Well said.
I
All right,
get it.
moving on from Will Smith. I totally forgot about that one. Ladies, Nat, anything we need to do here before we move on? We've got about a half hour left. Thank you guys for all your patience. Thanks for the production team. We want to get through at least 2 more stories. So I'll let you guys kind of weigh in on what stories we have here. So, ladies, and even gentlemen, grab your cards right here because we're going to do a quick little poll. What is more important to you in your significant other? If you can, obviously everything's important, but 1 and 2, if these were the 2 options, looks or personality. So for looks, put up green, personality, put up red. What is more important to you?
I got a question for you.
Wait, say that again?
Yeah.
How bad, if it's only personality, how bad are the
ugly are
looks?
No.
What are
I'm
you
not
picking out of?
No, they're all great, but what's 1 and what's 2? So these girls have what? Personality? Red is personality, looks is green, right? Nat, hold it
Looks is
up.
green and red is personality.
Okay, so all the women have personality first. Mike, what do we got? Can I get one of these things? What do you have?
Personality.
I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Yeah, I'm going with looks.
Yeah.
Okay, because what I'll tell you is this, and this is what I want to hear from you guys. Your looks will get you in the door, but your personality will keep you in the house. But no guy is going to be like, yeah, she's just not attractive, but
so nice.
Dude, she's amazing. She's so nice. So
funny.
guys, we would be lying.
We don't be like, she's
if we
funny.
didn't say that we're visual creatures. We get that.
Nah, yeah.
Women, there's so many different qualities that you're looking for in a man that will make you want to submit to him or be part of his life. That looks is just one of them. I think for a man, it's 80% looks and then 20% else other things. For a woman, there's an equal distribution of money, resources, looks, status, personality. There's so many different things that are going on there. So I'm actually not shocked by this. But what is pretty shocking is the article that we're about to read, okay? So this article was done by the Polish Academy of Sciences, but it was involved 11,000 Americans over 20 years. But here's what it revealed. So the study basically says that men benefit from their looks in the workplace more than women do.
I get ready for no reason?
Exactly. So this 20-year study revealed that men benefit from their physical attractiveness in their career more than women.
Is it because there's more men in the workforce?
I think that's
Probably.
why.
I think there's more women in the
Where'd
work.
you get these
There's
stats?
more women in the
What
workforce.
is the stats
Ladies,
serving?
I don't think that's what it is, but let me continue the story. More men in the workforce.
What? It's
Okay.
true, isn't there?
I think there's more women.
The study's goal was to understand how looks influence socioeconomic upward mobility, so moving up in this world, like the Jeffersons, moving on up to the east side. You know, I mean, these girls are too young
No.
for the
That was my
Jeffersons.
shit.
We know. That's right. George Jefferson and Wheezy, you know about that.
Careful, you're aging.
Yeah, we are definitely aging ourselves
Yeah.
right here. So the
We're seasoned.
socioeconomic upward mobility, in addition to the impacts and biases of physical attractiveness, which qualities include suitability, fitness, health, and also how often people perceive conventional attractive individuals as more intelligent, trustworthy, and talented. Okay? Why are you rolling your eyes, Maria?
No, I'm I don't
Blinking.
agree.
Attractive people are perceived to be more intelligent, trustworthy, and talented. Maria's like, yeah, right, bro. Okay. So how does men, you just basically said this. I don't have the answers for this story. This is sort of the advantage of being the host of a show is I get to ask some questions. But the study just revealed that men have more of a competitive advantage with their looks in the workplace to basically get up in their career versus women. Whereas I know most women there's two things, like, I don't know many men who get by with their looks. Like, I don't know many men who, like, if you look at the distribution of what male models make versus female models, it's not even comparable. It's like the NBA to the WNBA. Remember we did this study? Mm-hmm. The NBA, the top guys are getting paid literally $40 million a year, $30 million a year. Like, if you're a scrub, you're making $1 million a year, scrub in the NBA. But the top WNBA players are making like $100,000, $200,000. Like, if they're like LeBronita James, okay? But in the modeling world, it's actually interesting. It's actually the other way around. All the top models in the world, who are the top female models, like Gigi Hadid and Bella Hadid and Kendall Jenner and Tom Brady's ex-wife Giselle, when she was doing her thing, these girls are making tens of millions of dollars. Whereas male models, they're like, here's a pack of Snickers and some Doritos, buddy. Like, enjoy your day. And like, here's a couple $100. Like, at most, they're making a couple $100,000. It just doesn't work that way. So when I see this study that men are getting further ahead because of their looks, whereas the numbers don't really show that, like, men are getting by with their brains or even their physical prowess. Where do you ladies stand on this? Like, are you more apt to do business with an attractive man versus an unattractive man? Business, not sexual. You're in fintech sales.
Yeah.
So you must deal with a lot of dorky dudes.
Yeah, so my industry is very male dominated.
Yeah.
And actually all my coworkers currently most of them are over the age of 50. So I think now I finally have 2 new coworkers that are around my age. So I've been dealing with a lot of older males, older white males that tend to be. I will say, so when I first started my job, we did a training for 6 months, and we had one session where they talked to us how to dress and how to look when you go meet clients, because they
For
said,
the men or the women?
For both, actually.
Oh.
And they said conventionally attractive people do better in sales. Like, they straight out said, here are the statistics. Like, blondes will sell this much more, like stuff like that. If you wear this kind of look, like,
What did they say to the men?
To the men, I wasn't in that session,
Probably
so
well-groomed.
I don't know. Yeah, probably well groomed, but so I was in that session. So I just want to lay that out, that it does matter looks, especially when it comes to like a sales type role and doing business. But is this study? My question is this study kind of correlated to also the fact that men tend to go after things more, in the sense of like asking for salary raises, asking for, demanding, I guess, the sell? Because in some sense, I feel like I think looks, for me, I will say, when I've been in front of people, it does help. But then there's some points where men look at me and think like, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Like, I've been to some conferences where I'll be talking about my product. I'll be, asking them questions, discovery type questions. And they're just like laughing tends to be these older men that tend to laugh.
Yep. I was in sales too, and I had the same thing. I had to try like 10 times harder than like the attractive guys in my office who could get away with not selling, missing their goals. But because they're attractive and they have a good personality, like, they're still boys with everyone. I think the boys club thing, like, a lot of men will help other men be successful, but women have to kind of force their way into that.
Agreed.
And it's really hard unless like those guys want to fuck you. Like, if they want to, like, once they know they can't fuck you, they're not willing to help you grow as much. Whereas men will help each other grow. And then also, like, restaurant industry, there's a lot of women. I'm pretty sure there's more women in the workplace right now, but you'd always see like the bar backs and everyone get promoted quicker because they were attractive. Or even in comedy, look at Matt Rife. Matt Rife made $25 million last year.
That new jawline.
Because he is very attractive. He's like, I think he's a good comedian, but a lot of people are saying it's because of his looks. Whereas if there's a hot female comedian, no one's looking at her being like, she's so funny, like, let's make her famous.
Show me a hot female comedian.
You don't think?
Her.
Yeah, thank you.
No, like famous.
Good answer.
Thank you.
She's getting there.
Yeah, I don't know. Whitney Cummings is hot. Nikki Glaser is hot. There's a ton of hot people.
They're like hot for comedians.
I guess
That's a fact.
Was that
That's real
inappropriate?
shit.
Nobody's
Nah,
gonna
that's
look
real.
at
That's real.
I
agree with you.
Whitney Cummings is like, dude, that's
Well, I
a
said
supermodel.
personality too, so that makes everyone more attractive automatically off
Touche.
the bat.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
I see that.
But it's funny because we were talking about the Will Smith thing, the Brother Bilal thing. You're like, that fat motherfucker. I do not believe him off top. like I'm in the financial world and the insurance world and the financial space, and there's some of these guys that come to these meetings and they're just sloppy. And I'm like, who's gonna trust all their money, their estate planning, to this dude that can't even get his own life together? Now I'm gonna trust my net worth to your fat ass? Like, this is why you kind of talked about the credibility of someone that is a glutton.
Yeah.
Right? What's your experience with this?
Well, this whole thing, I agree. I think that what she was saying is accurate. The fact that, okay, an attractive woman in the spot, okay, but a man is most likely gonna do business with a potential battle buddy. Even if he might be able to fuck her, he's not really looking to promote her unless she's extremely talented or whatever, right? And chances are there's not a lot of extremely phenomenally talented people in whatever space. It's always a small percentage of people like that. So I just think that, now some of my views on the workspace is a little bit old school. I think it's weird.
I'd love to hear it.
I think it's weird to have men and women in close proximity all day long. There's bound to be some sexual harassment and all of these things. I mean, you're first of all, think about a situation where there's just a lot of guys, right? And then not a barely attractive woman come in. Everybody's lusting over her, even if she's not that hot, just because it's a girl, right? We go crazy, right? So it's like, I think that it's inappropriate to have men and women so intermingled all the time because, I mean, we're still animals, right? And I'm not saying this behavior is right at all, because I know motherfuckers gonna come after me, but you know, a person will fall victim to their nature at certain points, especially all day. I think she's looking at me. Oh, she think I'm funny. Whatever. We're gonna see it different than what the reality is. I see it all the time. Oh, she like me. Like, bro, she just glanced in your section. She ain't thinking about you.
So
this is how people think, right?
Because I have actually very strong opinions on this and I'll tell you a couple stories, but so what's your solution before I kind of give you my story?
I don't know. I think that I used to live in the Middle East. I used to live in Ras Al Khaimah, and it's not all mixed in like that. And I think that's appropriate. I don't think men, listen, I'll be damned if, and then think about the women who get sexually harassed and don't say nothing because they don't want to lose their job. I'll be damned if somebody in my family was dealing with something like that. I'm killing everybody. I'm fucking it up for everybody.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Malik, where's that thing you had on sexual harassment?
Oh, it was right here.
Oh, yeah.
And that happened to me too.
So that's flirting right there on the left, but that's sexual harassment on the right.
That's a fact.
So it just kind of goes to show, if you're fat and sloppy, you might catch a charge.
That's a fact.
If you're good looking and fit, you're just that cute dude. What does it say there?
Like,
Malik, read that.
Oh, he's hungry.
That's a huge
It said
double
that
chin.
dress looks sexy on you. Like versus like if there were a fat sloppy guy saying that, women would feel uncomfortable because they're not attracted to that guy. But the guy on the left is more likely.
Yeah, they
to
did a thing
receive
on
good response
SNL.
from that.
But I gotta say something about the picture. Like, for the guy to be looking the way
That picture right there?
Yeah. For
Okay.
example, for that guy to look the way he looks, he probably shouldn't work out so hard. And it says a lot about his discipline. It says a lot about his personality. I just can see it. But what about the other guy? He doesn't even fix his hair, you know? So it's like if you put
Hold on, pull that picture up real quick. That's what you're worried about right now?
No.
Fixing his hair? For real?
No, like the
I don't know, that
habits.
mustache
Like,
is looking
I'm
pretty
talking,
I didn't even notice his hair. I was
No.
caught up on his 7 chins. But go ahead.
Yes, I'm talking about his habits. You can just, in a picture, you can see it about his habits. Do you really think that he is the type of man who can actually make a lot of money? Do you think he looks like he actually works so hard that he knows what to one of those bills is worth?
Yeah.
He doesn't look like that. He looks like he haven't even probably had sex much as probably the other guy, because be honest, like a guy like that, he will just try to get on you, and if he really wanted to do something, he'll probably work on himself first before he try to catch up with a girl.
But what's the difference? It's the same compliment. So like, how is one received differently?
Just because of the way the habits that you can see,
habits,
that he's
but
reflecting. He reflects a lot of bad habits,
The
not
compliment
discipline.
doesn't have a habit though. We're just talking about that dress looks sexy on you, regardless of the compliment. Like what makes it received any differently?
So Maria,
You know?
how would you receive a compliment from the fat guy versus the in-shape guy? Would it be the same compliment?
No.
Why not?
Are we also talking about both of them in the workplace, or are these?
No, just in
separate?
general.
That's different.
The fat guy says, wow, that dress looks really sexy on you. right?
Yeah,
was that the
grossed
quote,
out.
Malik? What
you
was
grossed
it?
out.
Yeah, that
you
was the
grossed
quote.
out, right?
Yeah, that dress looks really sexy
I'm
on
grossed
you.
out for you, so I feel
Yeah.
you. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
But by the way, that guy's probably like eating a sandwich and like, oh, that dress looks really sexy on you.
Could be a man.
Whereas like the fit guy's like,
But
wow.
the other guy's spitting chlamydia at you while he's talking. So I mean, where's
Yes.
the winner?
Pill
Why are
to
you
take
assuming
care
he's
of
got
that.
chlamydia?
The picture.
Picture.
Dang, so a handsome
I
guy.
got something
It's the light skin,
Come
right?
on, Jamie, that is
So a handsome
toxic.
guy.
Just says because he's fit and handsome. I agree with Mike. You just think he has an
No.
STD?
No.
No, it was the look. The look in
But
his
you
eyes.
look at someone like
What's the
that,
look?
you're like,
Let's see
you
that
know,
picture, Malik.
What's
but
the
a
look?
guy like that, you're like, you sleep around. The probability
Why?
of you having an STD
Why?
is maybe higher
'Cause
than
it's a
this
selfie.
guy.
Not
No,
for you
that's
because
a
it's a
selfie.
selfie.
I actually know that guy.
It's
He
not a
lives in
selfie.
South Beach. He's a good dude. He's
I
got a
don't know.
girlfriend
I don't know.
that he cheats on regularly.
Yeah, you want me to be honest?
Good.
I think the comment is just, I just think it's better just left unsaid. I think you should just do your
But
thing.
if someone does give the
Compliment
compliment,
you.
is it
If you want
gross?
me
It
to be
also
honest,
depends on the
if you want
tone,
me to
no?
be
How they're
honest, when
saying
people
it. How
they're
compliment
saying
me,
it.
when people
Yeah.
compliment me, I
Like, what's the
respect it.
tone?
Thank you, I appreciate it. Like,
Both guys.
may I feel like you're looking at me a little too hard? Yes, I do feel like that. Whether you look ugly or you look great. I'm thinking, okay, you're definitely checking me out. That's what I'm thinking.
I think people
respect it
know.
because I also don't know how people react if you're like, ew, you're disgusting.
We're
and they
assuming
slap
that
the shit
guy
out of
though
you.
is like, that looks sexy on you. Like that's what everyone is acting like he's gonna say. What if he was just like,
Maybe, hey,
you look
that-
really
you
nice
look
today?
nice.
That
I would
dress
if
is
I was
That's
sexy
not
on
bad.
Yeah.
If I was him, I'd shoot my shot at all times.
I think it's all
I
on
mean,
the
you got
tone.
It's just like
looking like that.
Like the situation.
What were you gonna say?
That I think it's all on the tone, like how she's saying. Like one thing is like,
All in the tone.
that looks sexy on you,
Yeah.
and rather than, hey, that dress looks nice on you. Like, oh, you look
So
pretty.
I
That's,
actually want to get your take on what Mike said because it's very interesting about men, women. This is a new concept. They've never, in the history of the world, up until basically the last 40, 50 years, have men and women been crammed in small areas and cubicles and workspaces and said, all right, guys, just play nice. And I'm about to share a story with you about how basically how many people that work together are basically just screwing all day. But should men and women not be in the same workplace together? Put up your red and
I wonder
green.
what the statistics are for Catholic high schools because they're usually separated.
Should they do something
you know,
about
like-
men and women working in the same office or just laissez-faire economics? It is what it is. Men and women work, figure it out. People are going to screw anyway.
I don't know. I think we live in a world where there's women and men, so why they can't be together as long as there's respect, Like I studied in a non-school with all girls, and I feel that was too extreme because it even, like when you get out of school, it was at the beginning actually a little bit uncomfortable to be around guys because you're not used to that. When the real world, it's composed by women, men, now other things.
Well, I'll tell you, this is kind of what you were saying about, you said you worked in tech sales and it's mostly men. Here's what happens. When you said about men and women working together, would you grab that? So I work in insurance and in finance and it's 90% men, right? So, and most of them, what I would call, at least in this industry, MPS, male, pale, and stale, just old white dudes. All right, cool. No disrespect to my older white friends. Love you guys. It's just sometimes these guys are just old school. So I would show up. I'm from Miami. I'm from South Beach. I start in the industry. I'm 26, 27. I'm this young guy just kind of starting out. And there's probably 10% women at these massive conventions, okay? So it's kind of like the vault. There's 3,000 people and it's mostly men. It's even worse and more
with me,
amplified
I'm an
here.
engineer. That's all
Okay.
guys over there.
So here's what happens at these types of events. It's, let's say 1,000 people and there's 900 men and maybe 100 women. Now what happens is filtering, there's 20% of the men that are just, and it's probably more than that are just unfuckable. They're old, they're sloppy, they're fat, they're not even in the game. And also 20% of the women, they're older, they're just gone. So now the numbers are a little bit lower. So now there's, 600 men and now only 80 women. And what happens is, they say there's beer goggles. Well, there's also conference goggles where you'll see a girl, right? And in real life, she's a 6. Go to your mind in that. But at the conference, dude, this girl's a 12. Every dude is like, oh, did you see fucking Sarah in tech sales, bro? Oh my God. I'm like, yeah. Also, a lot of these guys talked about loyalty and cheating, being honest. they've got like 3 days out of the year not with their wives, and they're at this conference, and they are trying to get it in. I'm exposing a lot of dudes right now, but I'm just letting you know. They're away from their wives. They're in Dallas, Texas, at the
Plano, Texas.
And Plano, wherever it is, it's like, I've got 3 days to just live my fucking life. And I'm just gonna do whatever I wanna do. And Sarah in tech sales, that 6 could get it. And at this conference, that girl is a 12. Now, everybody is, hey, what's up with Sarah? What's up with Sarah? Now, what's happened to me is I don't give 2 shits about Sarah because I live in South Beach and I'll be back there in 48 hours. And that's the last girl in the world that I'm actually interested in. But here's what's funny. The less you pay attention to these girls where they're getting so much attention, the more they're like interested in why you haven't tried to hit on them. It's very weird. The law of supply and demand. I'm telling you this right now. I'm not going to out myself and that I took down Sarah from tech sales. But it's just very...
Not saying you didn't.
I'm not saying I didn't. But the same rules apply where if it's a room of women, I don't know, like any sort of bar, where do women work? Any like, I'll give you an example. I was a substitute teacher for a year. It's all women. All women. I show up, I think I was 25 at the time, just like I'm doing stand-up comedy. I'm a nightlife guy. I'm just like, I'm there. Every single female was like, hey, so what's up? Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a boyfriend? Can I hook you up? It's like supply and demand complete other way. So where am I going with this right now? If there's not a equitable supply and demand, like in the workplace, there's always going to be something that's sort of skewed the wrong way. Mm-hmm. Sarah, the 6, will get all the attention, or Billy, the normal guy, will get all the attention from the women. So there is some sort of equilibrium that sort of needs to occur. So not having any women in the workplace is just going to be recipe for disaster for the men. And the one woman that works at the company, everyone's trying to bang her. It's the flip side around. What were you about to say?
No, nothing.
But you said that you worked in...
yeah, but I haven't been in that situation though.
You have not?
No.
You were about to say something?
No, well, I graduated myself as a pilot.
As a what?
Pilot.
You were a pilot?
Yeah, I studied to be a pilot.
You flew planes?
Yeah, Cessna
so
Piper.
You were one of very few women?
Yeah, like literally.
And you're attractive?
We were two.
Every single one of these pilots was trying to hit?
Yeah. In that,
I'm just going to put it bluntly.
It's sad because that type of situation also make us as a woman become a little bit. You have 2 options. Either you become a bad girl, like you bang everyone, or you become manly too.
So what are these 2 terms you said?
Like, I mean, you become manly like another man, or you
become manly,
or you have the other option. Like there's girls.
Or you just start sleeping with everybody.
Exactly. Like you go crazy.
What's a better option for women?
I think the masculine role.
Yeah?
Yeah, I actually developed...
In the workplace.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you this. I actually developed a lot of masculine energy when I was studying as a pilot, and I was working for an airline where I had 8 employees older than me, and all of them were males. So I was like, I had like a lot of masculine energy. And for me to be in my feminine energy, I needed to have an actual man who calmed me down and teaches me how to be a woman, how to be a lady. It's hard.
Well, it's a double-edged sword for women. I have this conversation with certain girls off camera. So you're familiar with the concept of pretty privilege, right? So there's white privilege and there's male privilege and
black privilege.
Right, there's black privilege. There's all sorts of privilege out there. But pretty privilege, where it's like, you're pretty, you're just gonna get shit. But there's a double-edged sword. The prettier you are, the more people are gonna wanna sleep with you. And you're gonna feel, whether it's real or not, that like, everyone just wants to sleep with you. How do you know who you can trust? Like this one girl, I was like, listen, I'm just going to be super real with you. She's a model, cute girl. I go, all these guys that are your friends, they're all just trying to fuck you. She goes, what are you saying right now? Like, they don't just want to be my friend? I'm like, no, they don't. They just don't want to be your friend. I'm sorry.
See,
and the prettier you are.
Serious.
You what?
I wouldn't take her serious.
How do you mean?
If I gotta explain that to her and she's acting like, no, they're my friend. Like, all right, okay.
I'm like, okay. Yeah, they just... So how did you guys meet? They just randomly came up to you and asked you a question?
Yeah.
Like, hey, do you know where the closest restroom is? Whatever. Like they needed to ask the pretty girl for that?
We typically don't want to just be buddies with a hot woman. It's not a thing.
You're my friend, Sos.
No, but look, I'm very different because I'm hosting a show and it's incumbent on me to have a lot of women on the show that I'm friendly with, and it'd be like absolute psychopath of me if I had relationships with the girls on my show.
Yikes.
So I keep it very professional. Don't shit where I eat, that whole thing. I don't mess with any girls on this show.
Right.
But in real life, if I'm going up and talking to a girl and nothing to do with my show, I'm not like, hey, I need more girlfriends. I have thousands of them that come on the show. Yeah. I'm trying to like holler, but forget about me for a second. Any dude that's coming up to you, just understand that there's a possibility that he wants to be more than friends. And I understand where women are at with this, and I want to get your take on this. At what point you're like, hold on, you don't just see me as human, I'm just a piece of meat. You don't want to do business with me? Oftentimes they don't. Is that weird?
You know how I filtered that?
Yeah.
In my case, for example, I literally make a lane and I go like, yeah, we can do business, or we can do anything you want. I'm gonna be with my boyfriend, so we can do business all together. So that's like a good way that if you see that person that is actually into whatever you guys are gonna do, he's gonna do it with or without your boyfriend next to you. So with him, he will do it. If he doesn't do it just because your boyfriend or husband is next to you, then he wants something. And it happens to me.
So hold on, give me your game plan right there. Say that one more time.
So if someone wants to do business or an event, for example, whatever, I go like, yeah, for sure, let's do it. Let's talk, let's meet. I'm gonna be with my boyfriend and we can all agree to do something.
Yeah.
If that person stops right there, it's because that person didn't really want to make any type of business. That person wanted something else.
I think that's super smart of you.
But what if you don't have a boyfriend?
Baby.
Find a colleague. I feel like this is what I would do if I was running a company. I would hire attractive women, okay? I would hire you, Maria. I would hire you, Pau. I would hire you, Astrid. Because I think female energy is amazing. But there's always going to be, depending on the business you're in, guys are always going to want to, hey, so what are you doing after work? My assistant, female. Okay, I brought her to, Alex, Nat, falling apart over here.
Yeah.
I brought her to a meeting. I said, hey, look, let me explain how this thing works. All these guys are going to come up to you and they're going to, introduce themselves. And then they're going to be like, hey, afterwards, we're doing this. But at some point, like that dude who you think is trying to do business, he's going to be like, so what's up? I'm like, just be ready for that. And she tells me, no, Adam, no, I know what I'm doing. I go, Alex, I'm a dude. I've been in this business 17 years. I'm letting you know, you're young, you're attractive. They're going to say something to you at some point. Later that night, she's like, yeah, well, we're all going out to this restaurant, blah, blah, blah. I got invited. I go for it, because she does biz dev and sales. The next day, that night, I was like, are you home safe? Cool. She has a boyfriend, keep in mind. And I go, tell people you have a boyfriend, because you actually do. The next day, she goes, yeah, the one guy who got super weird and got kind of drunk and aggressive and weird. I go, look, you can't put yourself in these positions. What's the reason that I wanted her to learn that, experience that? Is because I needed her to understand how this works. So what I would do is, you need to have, whether it's the boyfriend or a business partner or a counterpart or a colleague, the more attractive a girl is, she needs to have a dude that's going to help close the deal or be a part of the sale, especially if you're dealing with men. Straight up. So there's been times where an attractive woman will meet, and I'm like, all right, I'm single, she's single, I don't know. And she'll show up with a business colleague to the final part of the deal. And I know, all right, cool, we're down to business here. But if she shows up by herself, you don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what you do?
Yeah, you don't put yourself in a position where you don't want to be too. So
it sounds like I'm stopping dudes from getting laid here. Anything but. Yeah. I'm trying to make business happen
and I've
here.
seen it
get laid in a safe way.
That's right. Get laid in a safe way. No chlamydia for you. So in your situation, your tech sales, what do you implement?
So where I get, and I need your advice on this, I get into situations where I would tell people, they see the ring on my finger. Yes. I'll get comments like, "Ooh, a man really loves you," right?
Yeah, guys
Those
don't give a
comments.
shit that you have that ranking.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. So I know that I'm not stupid. So I totally get the point of like, so when I'm
They
like,
should, but
yeah,
they just
should
don't.
respect it. So I've gotten in situations where I don't want to come off as a bitch when I know there's certain comments being made that's kind of like, okay, you're pushing it too far. So how do you like reply to those situations without, again, coming off as masculine energy or whatever you
I
want to
just put
call
them
it?
in their fucking place.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Just put
there is-
masculine
there is-
on. You're like, listen, buddy, we're here to
It's
do
not.
business.
It's not even masculine. It's just.
Yeah, there is
Yeah.
just no way. There is just no way that, like I'm telling you,
Because the more
it's not-
timid you are, the more they'll push.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're not upset.
because
Look,
you're
guys,
not
this is
sure.
pretty-
You're
this
not
is pretty
sure.
simple. Mike started this entire conversation without that honesty is the best policy.
Yes.
You don't have to like bust out your female dick to like be honest. Just be like, hey, look, by the way, I'm engaged or I'm married or I'm in a relationship. I'm here to do business. I think you're an awesome guy. That's awesome. Let's keep it professional. Let's get down to business.
You'd be surprised
Because-
how many men don't respect that.
Well,
though.
then you need to be firm.
It's just
and that's
more
why
so-
you need to have a guy.
I think it's
Neither
more so
woman.
though if
You
it's
shouldn't be
not
doing
like
business with them.
super obvious. It's not like they're like, oh, let me.
That's not business though. That's sex. But here's actually an interesting story right here.
Okay.
By the way, what percentage of you guys work remote?
I used to.
Put up
I'm
your
not
red or
anymore.
greens. Nat, work remote.
What
Like you
color
don't
is-
have to be in an office. Green is you work remote. Red is you work in an office. Okay, so half and half. Mike, you're all over the map. Who knows where you are? Here's an interesting story for you that we'll wrap up in. So this new study reveals, Malik, pull this up. So this new study reveals 25% of remote workers are sneaking off in the middle of work during the day to have sex while on the clock. 1 in 4 remote workers are sneaking off to have sex on the job. Look at the story. This is from Fox News, okay? Fox Business. Calendar Lab study revealed that 1 in 4 remote workers in the U.S. are engaging in scheduled sexual activities during work hours. Researchers noted as remote work becomes more common, it tracks that scheduled intimacy extends into the workplace for some who work from home. They use all these fancy words. Scheduled intimacy. People be fucking doing work hours is all it is, okay? Like on the clock. You're on the clock while you're sitting on... Fill in the blanks there, Nat. All right. So remote workers have been using emojis like a sandwich emoji, headphones, or fire to deceive colleagues and their bosses, making it seem like they're occupied with work-related tasks while they're actually having sex. Meaning their boss is like, how's that report looking? And they text them back a fire emoji when it should have been an eggplant emoji. That's basically what's going on here. So, but here's what's interesting enough. 25%, so 1 in 4. The screwing at work situation is actually not limited to remote because 10% of in-office workers have also had sexual encounters at work or in the office. This kind of goes to your whole point. You put men and women together, they're going to do some stuff, right? So the study highlights that scheduled intimacy correlates with higher relationship satisfaction, with 50% of those who do this have higher overall satisfaction, better intimacy fulfillment compared with those who don't. Here's how I'm taking all this and I'll open up to this. People who have sex more often are happier, have more fulfillment, have more satisfaction, okay? The only problem is a lot of them are doing it at work or while on the clock.
Called motivation.
It's called
As long
what?
as they get
Called
the work done,
motivation.
why
Okay.
not? No.
So here's my point, ladies and gentlemen. The majority of you have worked remotely, and some of you work at an office, but that does not preclude you from sexual encounters. But for the people, put up green if you were the ones that work remote.
I used to,
Okay.
not
I
used to
anymore.
work in an office.
Here we go, ladies. What type of shit are you really doing while you're working remote?
Blowing my man while he's on a Zoom call.
Full on.
If you're not sucking your man's dick while he's on a Zoom call, are you really a good girlfriend?
She gets it. She gets it. She gets it.
Mike,
Yes.
you're co-signing that?
Yeah.
All right.
Nah,
I
I'ma
can
say this
see
though.
Mike is like, he's like, yeah, I'm on the Zoom call. I'm really excited for this presentation. I have all my TPS
I might
report.
just angle it down like what y'all want. Y'all do it too. What you talking about?
You're like, who's
Nah,
that?
but
And you're like,
I
it's
don't
my
like-
cat.
I really don't like. I got a person or two that does remote a couple days. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
So you're totally comfortable with catching some.
Nah. I want them because it's the times when they're not in the office when like the productivity ain't producing. You know what I mean? And look, you're not working. You're just not. Nobody's working the full 8 hours or whatever at home. Nobody's doing it.
But I think also in the office.
It depends because sometimes, for example, what I do sometimes, it's by project. Sometimes you're like actually continuously doing stuff. At the same time, you're just waiting for approvals or for an email. So why would you be all day stuck in an office when you're just waiting for an email? Like for me, the ideal will be hybrid.
I'm talking about editors and stuff, not engineers.
Okay.
I think we're onto something here. I'll tell you what. Look at the stats. Only 1 in 10 people are screwing while they're at work. 25% of people are screwing while they're not at work. Now, I'm also gonna basically take a step out and say, all right, so that's screwing. What else are you screwing off doing? So when I started working remote back in the day, believe me, the day ended at 3:30, 4 o'clock. Maybe I'd smoke a J, maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. But I certainly wasn't burning the midnight oil. Here's the catch. Here's the solution. If you're going to work remote, 2 things need to happen. Number 1, there's a commission involved or there's a bonus involved where you can't just be salaried the same exact as working from the office. Right. So I'm in the financial world. I'm like, all my money is commissions. So if I want to screw off all day and fuck while I'm working, I just won't make any money. So I need to have my own drive, my own determination, my own motivation to be like, yeah, I do want to make some money. I also want to have a good life, have fun, but I need to really get focused because I want to make money. And that's the bigger purpose. But if you can make 50 grand working from an office or make 50 grand working from home, why the hell ever would you want to work from the office when you apparently can just be fucking all day or getting, what Jamie's giving her man? Hey, ladies.
Proudly.
Okay. So what else do you do while you're on the clock? Be honest.
I work out during the day.
Okay.
So my ADHD gets in the way from being productive sometimes. So my schedule is, I'm in a commission-based role, so I have a base pay plus commissions. So I am incentivized. Like the work I put in is what I'll get out of it. But in general, I'm lucky I don't have a manager that micromanages. And if I have to say, hey, I have a doctor's appointment, or hey, I'm gonna go get my hair cut, as long as I get my work done, because I'm in a role where as long as you get your work done, you close those deals, everything's pretty good. And so, that's another way to get a dopamine rush. So I'm not saying I do that, but I'm not hating it.
You're not saying you do what?
Get her hair done.
If my company's listening to me.
By the way, if my company's listening, job. I work nonstop. I think we get it. People, you're home all day.
Work better, no?
What's that?
Happier people work better and is more productive. I feel one.
Here's the selling point that I would say. Okay, look, I don't own any of the companies. I'm like a C-suite executive at multiple companies, but I don't own these companies, so I'm not the one paying salaries. Here's what I would do, though. I would say this. Here's the reason I need to work remote. Because, especially if I'm not commission-based. Commission-based is a whole nother animal. I would say the following. Look, if I'm 9 to 5, I'm showing up at 9, I'm leaving at 5. Straight up. I'm giving you my 8 hours, I'll bust my ass and do my thing. If I'm working from home, I'm working from the second that I wake up to the second I go to sleep. I'll probably end up working 12 hours for you. Now, you kind of have to trust me a little bit, but I'm going to work more and harder because I'm just working. There's no difference between work and home. It's the same thing. Your work is your bedroom is your work. So if my girlfriend wants to give me some head all day.
I would ask you this.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a salary job, right? Why would you work more hours at home? What's in it for you?
I'm just saying, once you're in that vibe, you bring up a really good question. And I actually can't answer it because I've always been commission-based.
Yeah.
But there is something called your give a fuck factor. Mm-hmm. So we all know those people that just don't give a fuck. Yeah. They mail it in, they're there for a paycheck, they don't care. But I would argue that people that actually care about their job, they're like, dude, I'm working as much as long as it takes to get this thing done. So I think that's the most important thing to identify. Does this person care about this job? Does this person care about being here? Does this person care about finishing this project? Or is it just sort of a paycheck because they want to get in, get out.
With my experience of allowing people to work remotely, the people that are remote, it's the most problems. They're not part of the culture of the office, right? They're just disconnected to an extent. And
No doubt.
And if nobody's on them, they're slacking big time.
You're absolutely
That's
right.
what hybrid is ideal.
It all sounds
you get both
good
things.
to an extent. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going into the office. Like, that's what people have been doing forever.
Like you said,
right?
I think it just depends on the job, honestly. Because like you said, you're dealing with a group of editors or writers or what other like employees you hired, and that I can see it's like you want to make sure that they're doing their part. But I feel like if you're in like you said,
Like for example, me, before I used to work from home, I used to wake up every single morning, go on a bike ride or go see the sunrise while rollerblading, then get home full of energy. I will be drinking my coffee while checking the emails. I will go at lunchtime to the gym, and then I will still have time to live a life in the afternoon, maybe be social, or like do laundry, do other stuff, and have time for yourself. And right now,
When do you work?
Okay.
Well, when did you work though?
I did work during the day, in the morning from 8:30 until 12, and then from 1 until 5.
But I think you're what is happening is that you're looking at it as a perspective as the owner of the company who wants people to actually come in and grow.
But wait,
but I've never experienced that.
But wait.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But
you're
it will-
seeing it from a perspective where you probably didn't even wanted to grow as much in the company. So you as the owner, you need people to be in the office so they can build. They can actually
I'm just going off
identify.
of pure experience, and
Like-
I have no doubt that you was killing it.
No,
right?
I
But
will even
people-
work better because I
most
was
people-
happier.
But you're
Right?
different then, because most people are not working as
But
hard.
that versus having to wake up, having to spend an hour, at least as a woman, you have to
Job.
spend an hour because you have to have your hair decent.
job,
You have to have a little bit of makeup. Then
Part of
they
having a
commute they commute to get there, and then like I don't know. Sometimes I know there's a lot of work, but there's moments where you could be working and also doing laundry and actually do things for yourself because it's a
See,
lie that every time
I
that
hate
you're
to sound harsh, but I don't care about all of that stuff. If you have a job, come do your job because everybody else is doing it. Look, I own the business. I get up early as hell and do all of the things that I like doing in the mornings, and I'm still there before some people.
Oh,
get
that's
there.
what I'm doing right now, but I was happier when I was remote or hybrid. Right now I'm waking up at 4:50 a.m. going to
But
the
I'm not
gym.
me. I'm all about productivity,
Yeah.
right? So, and it's like it's a machine. Like having a business is a machine. Everything has to be aligned and intact. And there's communication gaps when somebody's not there. There's spontaneous meetings that you're not going to be at. There's team gatherings that you're not a part of. You just don't have the same, like, you're not in the culture, right? So listen, once again, I'm going off of experience, right? We've been in business for years, and people typically just don't work. Maybe on a level of an engineer, maybe that's different. But typically people, they slack off when they're not, there's even one guy, right? He's gonna love me because he's watching this right now. He made himself a little office way in the back, out of sight, out of mind, and it's an issue with him. Like he's in the building at HQ, but he's so disconnected from everybody, and he's just not as productive sometimes. And we have to stay on him and have so many meetings.
Mm-hmm.
I hate having these talks with him, right? I love the guy to death, right? But it's like, wow, don't you see the issue here, bro? So when people are not like I said, people don't have to care, right? Come in and do your job. That's all I care about, right?
Exactly.
That's all I care about. But that is not happening when people are not there, to the extent that when they are there. And when you're off, I don't give a fuck. Don't even think about us. You know what I'm saying? But when you're supposed to be here, and here's another thing. There's times that I'm like just not in the office because I'm moving around a lot, and then I'll just pop up, and then like one of my guys, he comes in like an hour after he's supposed to be back from work, from lunch. I'm like, bro, is this normal?
Yeah, there's no accountability there.
Right. If they don't think that they're being watched, they're gonna.
I'll say this, and then we got to wrap up. We'll do the happy ending. The beautiful thing that we're in right now, and it's probably my favorite word, and it's really the essence of capitalism and why we started even valuetainment, is options.
Mm-hmm.
We have options now. We learned that during COVID. Like I've been working remotely for a decade. Like if people didn't tell me that there was a full-on Black Plague pandemic going on, dude, I was living in my condo in downtown Miami. I'd worked out, went to the gym. There was like a pool, beach area. I wouldn't even left my apartment. But obviously, we found out. So people realize these days, like I have another business partner that would go into the office every day. We do the exact same job, do the exact same thing. He runs the sales desk with me. He's our national sales director for our financial firm. I said, bro, this guy goes in the office 7 days a week. This guy's, I mean, he's killing it. I go, it took a full-on pandemic for you to realize you could do your job remote. And now he never goes into the office. It's really ironic. But what's the point with these options right now? We've never had these options before that have been manifested like this. So it's incumbent on you as the employee to say, hey, look, I would really prefer this. But it's also, you need to understand that as the employer, the person that's cutting the check, they also have needs and wants and basically boundaries, to put it kind of bluntly, of what they will stand for, what they won't stand for. So I think it's important for the employee and the employer, just like the man and the women, and the black and the white, and the gays and the this, like we all come together, Republicans and Democrats, everyone has different ideologies and degrees of beliefs, but having those conversations I think is important, because what we learned during the pandemic, this is my final point, you need to be around humans. If you think you're just going to work remotely for the rest of your life and just feel fulfilled, you've got another thing coming. So find that balance. That's where all I'm at. With that being said, it's time for our happy ending, and it's time to wrap up.
I didn't
with
offer
the
my
show.
services, okay?
What was that?
I didn't offer my services.
What were your services?
Happy ending.
Oh, happy
It went
ending.
over your head.
Come on now.
The old double entendre happy ending. You think it's the first time I've heard that one?
No, fortunately.
Nat, welcome back to the show.
What?
You've been buried in your phone for the last
I've been
15 minutes.
managing some stuff.
There's a couple topics we didn't get to today. We apologize, guys. We were going to talk about Kevin O Leary, about how much money he needs. We'll cover that next show, about how much money you need to feel secure. I'll keep a cliffhanger. Traditional gender roles and pop in the question. We'll cover that next show, all right, Nat? We'll keep that there.
Yay.
But we did cover a lot of stuff today.
Yes.
A man's purpose, man's mission. More is caught than taught. What Mike teaches his 18-year-old son, the way that he lives by. Non-negotiables, boundaries, whether having multiple women in your life is acceptable or not, and the way to do that. Amazing. Will Smith, God bless his soul, everything with him and Jada. Rough life out there. Okay, we talked about not fighting before you go to bed. Amazing conversation with that. I need to do a better job of being like, listen, now's not the time. We'll talk tomorrow. Stay on my ground.
With headbutt.
Awesome.
Headbutt takes care of that.
What's that?
Go to sleep.
We just talked about not that. Looks or personality, what's more important, why men make more money based on their looks, brains and looks, pretty privilege. And last but not least, remote workers are just screwing all day long. And as a business owner, you want some accountability right there. So there's amazing stuff we talked about, amazing conversation.
Gotcha.
Before we get to the happy ending, Nat, anything
Yes.
that you need people to know?
Yes.
Is your
well-
time to shine.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for super chats. I miss, messing up the reading of the super chats for you guys. So I'm going to do it today for you. So first we have In the Mind of Joe, question for Mike. What do you tell your daughter on how you would feel if she wanted to be a part of a man's harem?
Harem. I mean, that's not what we're talking about, a harem, but if he means a poly relationship. If my daughter, when she becomes of age to where it's time for her to, be in a committed relationship, and first of all, I'm vetting the guy out, whoever it is. If he's an honorable man and I respect him, she has my blessings to do what she want to do. She's an adult, right? Hopefully I've raised her right. And hopefully my due diligence on this guy is legit, and he's being in an honest, loving relationship. I have no issues with that. However, it's not reality because most people don't pursue polygamous relationships. So that was a rhetorical question, but that's my answer.
Got it. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. Then we got Beaten Cheeks in the chat with the
My
biggest
dude.
chat. $50. Thank you. And there's an additional 5, so 55. We love that. So he said, I'm one of the best cybersecurity engineers in the world, and for sure best looking within it. And easy 10 for 10 outside it. I'm a solid 5 and 6, but I'm successful because I sell my product well, especially when I dress well. All of my confidence for men, but I have to sell myself for my clients before I sell them on my product. Personality before producing. Supply and demand. Simple manomics. Sup.
Manomics.
Manomics. And
Cheeks,
that's
Mr.
it.
Cheeks, hope your elbow's doing better. He had some
Yes.
surgery,
Aw.
some weird shit's going on.
Awesome.
And let me know if you're coming to Miami anytime soon. I can hook you up with that realtor.
Yes, he got you. Other than that, thank you guys for super chat. Shout out to you, Beating Cheeks, for the biggest super chat. And my happy ending, as I love today's episode. I thought it was great. I thought we had different perspectives. I thought there was some pushback, which was great. I think I said some shocking things that you were surprised about. And I love having panels and having these discussions. I think it's important for you to kind of shape your decision based on conversations. So thank you guys all for coming and being a part of the conversation.
Amazing. So, ladies, there's the time for you to basically plug yourself, plug what you want people to know about you, give your hot take of what your favorite part of the episode was. Let the people know where to find you. We'll go start with this way. Astrid, welcome back.
Thank
I think you
you.
got along, even though you and Mike got into a little bit of a mini disagreement. I think you got along
I
a lot
respect
better
him.
with Mike
Likewise.
than our old friend Zerko, who was on the show with you last. I think that's fair to say.
Yes, that
Anyway,
is
what do you
very
want the
accurate.
people to know?
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me back. So I'm really happy to be on the podcast. What I want the people to know is if you're interested in learning about tech sales and also how to manage your finances to attain financial freedom, please follow me at FinTech Latina, where I talk all about my career and again, give you personal finance tips. So
That a girl. So the next time we do a personal finance episode, we want
Please
you
invite
back,
me.
okay?
Yes.
Jamie Lee Simmons is in the house.
What's up?
The
Yeah.
curtains match the drapes.
There's no
There's
drapes.
laser.
Oh, my bad.
Or no curtains. I don't know which one is
I don't
which.
know what's going on. But anyway, we love having you. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank
I remember
you.
when you were an infant in this business.
Isn't
we
that
invited
crazy?
you on like
Yeah.
2 years ago.
You guys
Look
I've
at
been
us
with you
now.
guys for so long, my Valuetainment family.
Yeah.
Oh, feels good. Thanks for having me. Y'all can find me at the Jamie Lee Show or Two Girls, One Blunt Pod. And my biggest takeaway, I would say, is the honesty thing. I think people don't talk about that enough. Loyalty and honesty goes a long way. There's not enough of it.
I think what Mike says is very true, especially if you're that dude. Like, obviously, honesty is the best policy, but if you're that guy and you're good looking, fit, millionaire, a man of actual conviction, like has the right thing going on, whatever the honesty thing that you need to speak to your girl about, I think that'll be a lot better received than you think it would be, and she'll respect you a lot more. Sometimes they'll be like, nah, I ain't playing that game, as Astrid did, but there's, again, supply and demand. There's a lot less successful multi-millionaire type men or guys that are on that pathway than there are hot chicks. There's a lot of hot chicks. No offense, ladies, but hot will get you in the door. Having an amazing personality will keep you there. Speaking of having amazing personality and keeping you there, Pau's back. Paula, it's
Thank
always
you
a
for
pleasure
having
having you.
me.
Very classy lady.
Thank you. I had a great time. It was a pleasure to come here again. I loved seeing all different points of view. I loved how you, like, even though many people don't agree with you, I love the place where you come from, because for me, everything is communication and honesty. You take it or leave it, It's your choice, as long as you choose to be there. And thank you. You can find me at Pau Stefan on Instagram, and it was
With an F.
with an F.
Not a PH.
PAOSTEFAN.
F-A-N. Okay.
Yes.
Well, always lovely having you. Maria, the elegant Maria. She was at the vault. That's the last time I think we saw you in September. Lovely to have you back.
Yeah.
What's your big takeaway?
Well, always, first and foremost, an honor to be here with Nati, with you. I really admire you and the entire Valuetainment team, and it's a pleasure to meet you. There is always something amazing that I take from the podcast that I come here, it's just the fact that you gotta be like honest and upfront, even if it's for a relationship, for business-wise, for a friendship, whatever you're gonna do, you have to be upfront and don't just try to change yourself to get something and then just come back to be yourself, because you're gonna hurt people, you're gonna ruin business, you're gonna do it wrong. So that's my biggest takeaway. And if you wanna follow me on social media, at Maria Prieto official just with one F, as in Spanish, in any platform, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
Want to know why? Because you're oficial.
Yes, the only
yeah.
one.
Oficial.
Oficial.
Malik, We didn't hear a lot from you today. We got to figure out so I can see you better. What do you want the people to know about you? Malik, by the way, happy birthday to you, bro.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Happy birthday.
You know
Part of the
that?
27 Club.
You're now officially closer to 30 than you are 20.
$20.
Malik is 27 years young. He's a stud, and he's going places, and he's a valuable member of the Valuetainment team, no doubt. Malik, what you want the people to know?
First off, I like the wide range of opinions that we got from the panel. Mike dropped some gems once again. First time he was on, dropped some gems. Second time he was on, he dropped some gems. God doesn't miss. But one thing that stuck with me, what he said to like boil everything down, was basically like strength. Like it takes strength to be honest. It takes strength to be comfortable being alone and chasing your purpose. Like you got to stay strong on that and stay firm in everything you do. And like the minute you like feel that sense of weakness, you got to sit back and reevaluate yourself. Like it's okay to be weak, but like as long as you like come back and be stronger from that, then you will be better off than what you were before. But overall, I think it's a great episode. Got some great feedback from the audience, actually. I love these polls that we run. We could go through if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so start from most recent. What's more productive? A lot of people prefer working from home than working from the office. Well, more people actually work remote than they do work in office, so that might attribute to the
Interesting.
statistic.
What was the percentage right there?
So percentage of people who work remote, 56% versus 44% who work in the office. 95% believe pretty privilege is a thing. 55% believe that men and women actually should work in the same workplace together. 51% versus 41% says looks is more important. In regards to going to bed angry, 56% say that you should go to bed angry to sleep on it.
56 say go to bed, sleep on it.
Yeah, you should sleep on it.
Okay,
Personally, I like to hash it out now, but that's a different discussion. Will Smith's marriage, is it irreparable or ride or die? Everybody said it's irreparable. And
what was the percentage?
76% says it's irreparable and 24% says ride or die. We got more women, more problems. 86% agreed that was true.
More what? More women equals more problems?
Yes, 86% believe that's true.
Wow.
You want to have...
Be careful with all these ladies.
Bring on the problems.
Mike said, bring on the problem.
You want to
Love
have
that.
good problems.
As far as men and monogamy, 65% said that men aren't monogamous naturally. And
They are not?
Yes.
Got it. So 35 said that they can be, or they are.
Yeah, and then 80% said you should not make women your priority, and you should also focus your purpose more than focusing on women.
Interesting. So there's a universal opinion that Mike Rashid enlightened us to, that a man should focus on his purpose and on his mission, not just his woman.
Yeah.
She's in the top 3, though. Can we agree on that?
Listen, I don't want to live in this world without my woman. So, it's not like
Touche.
I am not anti-women by any means. I'm super pro women.
Yeah. We're on the same page there. We
But
love
top
our
3
ladies.
though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, Mike, dude, it's always a pleasure having you on. You know what a stud I think you are. I think the whole audience understands what you are. Even the ladies. This is like why I love Mike on the show. You can disagree without being disagreeable. We might not see eye to eye here, but we're like, you know what? I like that. I respect that. And I think the ladies feel the same way about Mike that Mike feels about the ladies. But Mike, the happy ending is yours, brother. Where do you want the people to know? Where do you want the people to find you?
Well,
Go for it.
First and foremost, I want to thank you for sharing space and time with me. Not your whole team. Like, this is dope. I really rock with y'all. The team is awesome, right? They gave me a tour today. I like everybody here, everything that's going on, especially David. The panel is dope. This is like good intellectual discourse, which I appreciate. Y'all are dope. You know what I mean? See, people have a stigma of what Miami women are like, and I'm like, nah, it's not reality. And this is more representative of like a good part of the population of women. In regards, and shout out to the birthday boy over there.
Malik.
You know what I mean?
There you go,
Appreciate
Malik.
it, yes, sir. Listen, the world is yours. Literally, it's yours. You manhandle it and you go, right? And finding purpose, you have to. You assign your purpose, nobody else, right? and it's yours. You can own it and you control it. And you were talking earlier about like it's okay to be weak sometimes. It's not. Take that out your mind. We got to be superior men. You feel me? That's how you have heaven right here, right? See, society kind of tricked people into like, oh, life sucks, but you die, you go to heaven. My ancestors was told on the plantations, nah, just read the scripture. It says you keep doing this and you go to heaven. Fuck that. Nah, y'all got heaven. We get in heaven right now. You feel me? And how you achieve that is like being strong, is like having discernment, being truthful, being honest. And we're talking about being honest, right? The first and the most important person you got to be honest with is yourself.
Yes.
Right? If you a guy and you don't think you can be with one woman, you got to be honest with yourself about that shit. Be honest, right? And I promise you, and I don't want to make this about polygamy. That's, you know, that's not my mission statement by any means. But you be honest to yourself. One day you will find someone that is in accordance to what you want, right? So be honest to yourself, and that's it. You stand on truth, and life is easy. When you stand on truth, life is fucking easy. You feel nothing.
Respect, brother.
Stand on business.
My dude right there. Anyway, guys, thank you all for being here, especially Mike Rashid. Thank you for being the special guest. Thank you to the lovely ladies for being here. And shout out to Emily for walking off, but I thought she was great in her few moments to shine today. So give her some love from the SOSCAST and Valuetainment. Thank you guys for being here. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday. We had a little hiccup last week with Thanksgiving. A little too much turkey, right, Nat?
Yeah.
But we'll be back next Tuesday, where Tuesdays is more our money-specific shows, and Thursdays are our panels with our amazing people. So stay tuned to that. And a lot more coming from Valuetainment this upcoming week. We have RFK, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., coming on Wednesday. We have a few tickets left for that, for the PBD Town Hall with RFK. On Thursday, we might be doing a little special something party for Art Basel. Details to come with that, so stay tuned on that if you're one of the select people to get invited for that, so stay tuned for that.
And on the 5th, Patrick's...
Oh, and then last but not least, on the 5th, I almost skipped over that one, our CEO, our founder, our leader, Patrick Bet-David, my dude, my friend for 12 years now, his next book, Choose Your Enemies Wisely, is dropping. You don't want to miss that. If you ever read his book before that, Your Next 5 Moves, which is a Wall Street Journal bestseller, #1 Wall Street Journal bestseller, business classic. So the follow-up to that is Choose Your Enemies Wisely. I've already started on it. It's amazing. I highly recommend that. So a lot going on here on the SOSCAST, a lot going on PBD Podcast, and a lot going on at Valuetainment, and hopefully a lot going on in your personal lives. And we appreciate you rocking with us, because we try to do this every week and rock with you. Hit that sub, hit that like. We're happy you're here with us. We'll see you next Tuesday. Save that money. As always, peace out.
It's the SOSCAST, baby.